Chapter 1142. These family forces will definitely not say anything overtly, maintaining harmony as everyone earns money together. But in secret they can't wait for By Lake Mountain to die off, and will not sit idly by as it continues to develop, surely causing trouble behind the scenes. Especially the other commerce chambers in the Qingyun region. Not to mention, led by Jinlong Ridge Jin family, the Dragon-like Commerce Chamber would definitely not want to see a commerce chamber established on their own. Once the family's trading caravan starts operating, they will continuously target and even disguise as robber cultivators to harass. So facing this problem, what do you plan to do? Lu Changxing asked with a smile. He was naturally aware of this issue. Initially, he did not allow the family to expand the business, considering this very reason, thinking that earning this piece of money was too dangerous. But times change. Now his children have grown up and are capable of standing on their own. Establishing a commerce chamber can provide more opportunities for the children to gain experience. And from chi refinement to foundation establishment, he as a father could still arrange things properly. After foundation establishment, it would be up to the children to strive hard. Of course, another reason is that as the children's cultivation levels enhance and the population increases, family expenses also become somewhat unsustainable, necessitating an increase in income. Of course we fight. This is an issue every caravan will encounter. We can only rely on actual strength to forge a path and establish a renowned name for our family's commerce chamber. SAR the Oval Fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Rui's eyes gleamed with a heroic spirit as she spoke coldly. Although at the foundation establishment stage, most family forces are concerned about face and won't act too egregiously. But when it comes to interests, face counts for nothing, strength is what talks. As long as we make it through the first trading journey with solid strength, these forces will gradually recognize us. The main dangers afterwards are demon beasts, robber cultivators, and other unexpected situations. Such conflicts are inevitable, but along the way, we can also gradually build good relations with other family forces for mutual benefits. Lu Qingsong said. Haha. Lu Changxing, observing his daughter brimming with fighter spirit, felt somewhat amused. Among the children in the home, this daughter has the weakest combat prowess. Certainly, relying on Lu Rui to lead the team would not work. However, he was very satisfied with his daughter's spirit and courage. Okay, since it's inevitable, let's proceed this way. Our family will not initiate troubles, but we are not afraid of trouble either. But for the first trading journey after the formation of the caravan, let your eldest brother and Jiuyo lead the team. Lu Changxing said aloud. In terms of the commerce chamber as the family patriarch, he definitely could not intervene personally. If he came forward, it would probably provoke more targeting by other forces. Moreover, he established the commerce chamber to give the children experience. If he handled everything personally, the commerce chamber would have no meaning. But having his daughter Lu Rui lead, he definitely was not at ease. After deliberation, only his son Lu Pingan could lead and maintain control. Lu Pingan is kind-hearted and stable, capable of using reason to prevail over others on this journey. Additionally, using this opportunity, his son Lu Pingan can gradually enter the public eye, becoming a new pillar for By Lake Mountain. After all, By Lake Mountain cannot be supported by him alone forever. Now that the children have grown up, he and Lu Miaoga can also gradually fade from the public eye. Elder brother. When Lu Rui heard this, she pursed her lips, initially thinking her father would assign this task to her. But she also understood that her current combat prowess was somewhat lacking. Her elder brother, Lu Pingan, had been able to defeat a middle-stage foundation establishment patriarch from the Tao family in his early years, far beyond herself. If elder brother leads the charge, this trading journey is almost certain to be very stable. Lu Qingsong immediately said. He was aware of his elder brother Lu Pingan's combat prowess. Previously, he thought about asking his brother to lead the first trading journey, to establish a path and create a formidable reputation for the By Lake Mountain family commerce chamber. After all, By Lake Mountain's current reputation was entirely fought for by his father and aunt. Under such circumstances, other family forces would not cause trouble to By Lake Mountain. But to establish a commerce chamber and step beyond By Lake Mountain, to let other forces esteem them, sufficient strength was required. And in his view, his elder brother Lu Pingan was the perfect candidate. However, he also regretted that his brother Lu Qingshan was not at home. Though he had always found his elder brother's arrogant demeanor annoying in his youth. But he had to admit, his brother truly was a prodigious talent. If he was present, the family would have another top-tier combatant. Alright, since this is the plan, let's handle the commerce chamber this way. The specific details will be handled by you two in cooperation with Xingyang, then see who in the family wants to join the commerce chamber, the caravan, and draft a charter, regulations. Lu Changxing slightly straightened his posture and said aloud, "Yes, father." Both responded with a bow. Qingsong, you can also let go of the White Tiger Mountain family affairs appropriately, focus mainly on foundation establishment, and strive to break through sooner so your mother and I don't need to worry. Lu Changxing glanced at his son's cultivation status and said, "Thank you for your concern, father. I will certainly strive to advance to foundation establishment as soon as possible." Lu Qingsong responded with a fist salute. "Father, what will our family commerce chamber be called?" At this moment Lu Rui asked Lu Changxing. Let's call it, the Pingan Commerce Chamber." Lu Changxing answered, stroking his chin. In his view the meaning of Pingan, peace, is good, echoing the name of his eldest son Pingan. His first spiritual talisman shop was called Peace Talisman Hall, and now the Commerce Chamber would also be called the Pingan Commerce Chamber. Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong twitched their lips upon hearing the name. They felt that their father really favored this name. Their elder brother's name was Lu Pingan, and now the Commerce Chamber would also be named after this concept. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1143. Dad, this name for the Commerce Association has been used by too many people. Lu Qingsong spoke in a low voice. The cultivation world is so vast, and names like Pingan are very common. Especially some smaller commerce associations, they like to use such names, one for good implications and also because it's low-key. After all, a name that's too high profile can lead to dissatisfaction from others if one's virtue does not match one's station. In that case let's call it Rui Commerce Association. Wuyo Commerce Association, Great Love Commerce Association, Much Fortune Commerce Association. Never mind, let's call it Evergreen Commerce Association. After thinking of several names, Lu Changxing finally confirmed the name of the Commerce Association. After Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong retired, Lu Miaoyun softly inquired, "Husband, isn't this trade mission too dangerous for Pingan?" She knew that Lu Pingan was not bad in combat, but she was not very clear about the specifics. "Don't worry, with Pingan and the 9 Netherhound it's enough," Lu Changxing said with a light chuckle. Their son Lu Pingan had cultivated the 100 Refinements treasure body art to the peak of the 7th layer. He was just one step away from breaking through to the 8th layer. And the 9 Netherhound, after being fed a bottle of Beast Origin Elixir, had grown to the late stage of the 2nd rank. Under such circumstances, unless a false core Immortal personally made a move, they definitely could not match Lu Pingan and the 9 Netherhound. If any false core Immortal dared to be so shameless, then he himself would certainly pay them a visit. Lu Miaoyun, hearing her husband say this, also felt reassured and stopped worrying. Subsequently, Lu Changxing went out of the main hall to find his son Lu Qinsha. This son was 26 years old, and due to investing a lot of time and energy in insect control, his cultivation was still at the 6th level of energy refinement. Father. Lu Qinsha, inheriting the appearance and looks from Lu Changxing and Su Rian, had a handsome face with more defined, rugged features. However, due to his contracted spiritual beast being the 1,000-legged centipede, his skin was very white, giving off a somewhat pale and sickly aura. "Qinsha, try to activate this ancient charm with your spiritual power." Lu Changxing handed over the ancient beast taming charm to Lu Qinsha. "Yes, father." Lu Qinsha, not knowing his father's intentions, received the ancient beast taming charm with both hands. He didn't understand why, but as he looked at the charm in his hand, which appeared both like jade and not jade, like stone and not stone, carved with the patterns of magical beasts, he inexplicably felt a connection, and even his cultivation technique, beast technique, seemed to become more active. Without overthinking it, he initiated the beast technique, channeling spiritual power into the ancient beast taming charm. The ancient beast taming charm radiated a brilliance, and Lu Qinsha saw a world with mountains, plants, rivers. Within the river swam several utterly dark flood dragons and dragonfish. Perched on a large tree was a stunningly beautiful green jade luan bird. Nearby lay a cold blue mysterious turtle radiating a chilling aura, and a black and white bear-like creature that looked quite endearing. "Isn't that Sister Wangsha's little ice roll and the green jade luan bird?" Lu Qinsha immediately recognized the cold blue mysterious turtle, the iron-eating beast, and the green jade luan bird. Although the green jade luan bird was a gift from Lu Changxing to Lu Miaoyan, since Lu Miaoyan was practicing the heavenly longevity technique and could not travel, the luan bird was always used as a mount by Lu Wangshu. And the iron-eating beast, originally a pet of Lu Lingyi, was also often played with by Lu Wangshu. It really works. Lu Changxing, seeing the ancient charm emanating colored brilliance in his son's hand, slightly nodded. He asked aloud, "Did you see anything from it?" Replying to father, son saw many similar-shaped dragonfish and flood dragons, and also sister Wangshu's green jade luan bird, little ice and roll. Lu Xianxia still did not understand what his father wanted him to do. "Try to release one of the flood dragons for me to see," Lu Changxing said. Whoosh! Instantly, a black-colored large water serpent appeared, about 10 feet long with black scales covering its body, sporting 2 mustaches. It was a blackwater dragon Dao troop cultivated by Lu Changxing. However, these Dao troops were currently at the highest level of the first grade top tier, none had yet advanced to the second grade. "Take it back in," Lu Changxing continued. Hearing this, Lu Xianxia faithfully operated the ancient charm and retracted the blackwater dragon fish back into the charm. "Try putting these spirit stones into the charm to convert them into energy." Lu Changxing let his son try out various capabilities of the charm. After confirming that all these functionalities were working properly, he nodded and said, "Keep this ancient charm with you for now." Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If your sister Wangshu asks you for a spiritual beast, you give it to her. Then every half-month, your auntie Bai Ling needs your help to release these dragon snakes and dragon fish for a while. Lu Changxing instructed. Yes. Lu Xianxia, though still confused, nodded obediently. Moreover, he could feel that having this ancient charm with him could somewhat increase the speed of his cultivation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1144, Insect Control is after all a minor path, it can only serve as a means. If you become too engrossed and it delays your cultivation, then you have put the cart before the horse and the loss outweighs the gain. Remember, cultivation level and spiritual practice are the foundation. Lu Changxing continued to speak to his son Lu Xianxia. The other possessed a 5th grade spiritual root, and his talent was considered quite good. Although he encountered some setbacks at the early stages of cultivating the beast technique, and wasted some time with the current benefits provided by the Lu family, plus the cultivation resources given privately by his mother, he should have earnestly cultivated and already achieved a breakthrough to the 7th level energy refinement by now. Thank you for your concern, father. Your son understands. Lu Xianxia felt a pang in his heart, aware that he was indeed lagging behind in terms of the progress of his cultivation level. As long as you're aware of it yourself, that's enough. Lu Changxing patted his son on the shoulder and said no more. His hints were not just because of the delay in cultivation, but also because the current value of his son's spiritual insect rearing was mediocre, with limited returns in the later stages. If Lu Xianxia were a loose cultivator, it would naturally be okay to devote more time and energy to this aspect. But as a disciple of the Lu family, there is no need to engage in too much strife during the qi refinement realm, and spending too much time and energy on this would indeed be somewhat wasteful. Moreover, the Purple Shadow secret realm will open in just over 6 years, and given Xianxia's situation, you should consider exploring it then. At this moment, Lu Changxing thought of the Purple Shadow secret realm that opened every 30 years. He felt that it would be a good opportunity for his son to enter and temper himself. After handing the ancient beast taming charm to Lu Xianxia, Lu Changxing couldn't help thinking of its former owner, his son's mother, Su Rian. Although this woman had obtained the heavenly demon phoenix from him and condensed the heavenly beast Dao foundation, without the guidance and help of a personal mentor, her growth in recent years had been steady but ordinary. Her growth rate was extraordinary but not astonishing. If I hadn't taken the ancient beast taming charm from her, perhaps her development now would be even better? Lu Changxing stroked his chin, mulling it over. There has always been talk of fate and fortune in the cultivation world. Among those theories is the idea that if someone destined for great fortune experiences too many setbacks and defeats, it may lead to the loss of their destined fortune from the universe. Su Rian, in Lu Changxing's view, was definitively one with great fortune and should have progressed boldly and rapidly. But in recent years her development has been relatively ordinary. Fate and fortune. Lu Changxing chuckled lightly, not paying it much mind. He returned to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, began to stabilize his condition, and prepared to address Ling Zixio's dragon roar physique problem. At Baiyun Peak in Mingyue Residence. This profound origin bead has actually improved so much. In the cultivation chamber, Lu Wangshu, after successfully refining the profound origin bead, revealed a face of delight and surprise, bright and flawless. She knew the profound origin bead her father gave her was no trivial item. But she had never imagined it would be so amazingly effective. Not only was her mana spiritual pressure significantly increased, but this profound origin bead also acted like a second dantian, storing nearly 10 times her mana. With this, it's as if I have endless mana, and I can freely perform the drawing talisman in the void technique. Lu Wangshu was thrilled, her clear and bright eyes revealed a sly glint. Shortly after, she sought out her brother Lu Lingxiao. Lu Wangshu, what are you here for? Lu Lingxiao's features were not as elegantly handsome as Lu Changxing's. His face was rugged with well-defined angles and dignified. His unusual golden eyes, concealed by a magic artifact from Lu Changxing, were still exceptionally bright, eye-catching like a torch. He did not show much pleasure at the sight of his sister. Lu Lingxiao, are you itching for a fight again? Lu Wangshu gave her brother a sidelong glance and spoke. Sir, the novel fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. You've always wanted to challenge me. Now that your sister has condensed a Supreme Tao Foundation, he'll let you witness it. So that you don't neglect your cultivation in your rush to achieve foundation establishment. Dressed in a pale pink and white gown, Lu Wangshu stood with her hands behind her back, speaking to her brother. Supreme Tao Foundation? Lu Lingxiao's eyes narrowed slightly. He might not like this sister, but there was no question about her talent and comprehension. She was not only proficient in the talisman path but also knowledgeable in alchemy, puppets and music mastery. Although her cultivation level was slow, he knew it was because their father wanted her to lay a solid foundation. Do you want to see for yourself? Lu Wangshu asked with a slight tilt of her exquisitely shaped chin. Yes. Lu Lingxiao nodded. Although he understood through his mentor's explanations that there were bedrock shatter, with flaw, without flaw, and perfect foundation bases, hearing that his sister had condensed a Supreme Tao Foundation made him want to witness it for himself. Lu Lingxiao never considered himself inferior to anyone, especially not the sister in front of him. Lu Wangshu crossed her arms, glanced sideways and said, Is that your attitude? Lu Lingxiao's mouth twitched and he bowed politely, Please enlighten me, sister. Your tone and attitude are not right, try again. Lu Wangshu demanded. Lu Wangshu, don't take a mile when given an inch. The Tao Foundation consists of 4 levels. Bedrock shatter, with flaw, without flaw, and perfect. At most, you've only condensed a perfect foundation base. When it's time for me to assault foundation establishment, it will surely be a perfect foundation base as well, and it's not yet determined who will win or lose. Lu Lingxiao stood tall with an impressive aura, speaking proudly. He was already at the 9th level of energy refinement, his progress step by step, just to condense a perfect foundation base. Moreover, due to his physique, his mana foundation and techniques were far superior to ordinary people, so he was confident that after establishing his foundation, he would not be weaker than his sister. Of course, if she cheated by relying on talismans, that didn't count. Since you are aware of the different levels of the Tao Foundation, you must know what to expect from a perfect foundation base, right? Lu Wangshu did not mind her brother's attitude and spoke with a smile. Of course I know. Lu Lingxiao nodded. Since that's the case, your sister will let you truly witness it today. Lu Wangshu said with a smile. When the corners of her mouth lifted slightly, revealing pearly white teeth, it made her delicate face playful and lovely. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1145. Immediately the two of them arrived at the back mountain of Baiyun Peak. This place has a black-brown stone slab training ground for Lu family disciples in the energy refinement late stage to cultivate techniques, or for sparring. Sister Wangshu Lingxiao. Several Lu family disciples spotted them on the back mountain and shouted out. CTHNL Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Currently, many Lu family disciples are on outside expeditions or handling family affairs. Among those still training at home, Lu Wangshu is considered older. Furthermore, given Lu Wangshu's exceptional talent and the affection showered upon her by Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, and Chu Jinjin at Bai Lake Mountain, most Lu family disciples still hold quite some respect for this older sister. Qingyan Xingchen. Lu Wangshu greeted them with a smile, her expression bright and generous, like a spring breeze. Lu Lingxiao merely nodded slightly. The two approached a stone wall, where Lu Wangshu's beautiful eyes looked clear and deep. She said smilingly, "Lingxiao, watch closely." After speaking, she lightly lifted her jade hand, and magic flowed through her pale, slender fingers, gleaming with a lustrous glow. Then, like a dragon and phoenix in awe, her movement fluttered through the void, and soon, a talisman shimmering with golden light took shape. Buzz. Just as the talisman formed, it exuded an incredible and overwhelming magic aura. Drawing talisman in the void. Seeing this technique, Lu Lingxiao's eyes slightly narrowed. However, he knew that his sister cultivated the talisman path, a very rare talisman cultivator, and was not shocked by such a technique, simply continuing to watch Lu Wangshu. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Magic power surged around Lu Wangshu, causing her pink-white dress to flutter and dance without wind. The finished talisman instantly split into 3, 3 into 9, 9 into 36. All these talismans emanated an extraordinary magic aura, circulating around Lu Wangshu, making her appear pure and holy, full of grace. This. Lu Lingxiao was instantly startled. His vivid eyes gleamed with a golden luster, staring at the talisman before him. He had cultivated the pupil's skill, and could tell that his sister was not using an illusion technique to deceive him. She had truly conjured 36 second-rank talismans in a breath. Even with a perfect foundation base, with mana more robust than ordinary people, how could she deploy so many talismans in just a moment? That's the equivalent of a common foundation establishment cultivator casting 36 techniques continuously. Not to mention whether the meridians and dantian could withstand it, mustn't her mana be nearly depleted? But his sister seemed as if nothing had happened. Seeing her brother stunned, Lu Wangshu's mouth curled slightly upward as she continued to gesture incantation. Swoosh, 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 boom, 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 the golden talisman struck towards the stone wall ahead, each one causing an incredibly terrifying force. If it weren't for the wall being constructed from special materials and engraved with array patterns, it might have collapsed directly. Yet under such an offensive, the back mountain still shook. However, it hadn't ended yet. Lu Wangshu continued to gesture incantations with both hands, the void buzzing and trembling, generating more talismans, and soon there were over 100. Lingxiao, look closely, this is the power of the Supreme Tao Foundation. Lu Wangshu's robes fluttered, her hair flying, surrounded by intricate talismans, her figure shimmering hazy, like a beautiful warrior goddess. Phoenix Fire Scourge. She gestured with both hands, aligning these talismans neatly before merging them into one, forming a slender and elegant phoenix bird, with noble and gorgeous rosy clouds. The phoenix bird crouched behind Lu Wangshu, engulfed in blazing flames, endowing her with an indescribable sense of divine nobility, beyond earthly beauty. Lingxiao, what do you think? Lu Wangshu looked at her younger brother, her voice crisp and pleasant. She sighed inwardly in disappointment that she hadn't yet manufactured talisman soldiers. Otherwise, if she deployed a few talisman soldiers at this time, the power and effect could rise to another level. Supreme Tao Foundation. So this is the Supreme Tao Foundation. Lu Lingxiao was astounded upon seeing this scene. Even though he was very confident, believing that after his foundation establishment, he would surely surpass Lu Wangshu. But seeing Lu Wangshu's astonishing techniques, he felt somewhat powerless. So astonishing. Just moments and hundreds of talismans, is that what it seems like for a cultivator who just broke through to the foundation establishment stage? Even in the foundation establishment mid-stage or the late stage, isn't it just this? Not just him, the recent commotion pulled to the back mountain fellow cultivators Lu Qingyan, Lu Xingchen, and Lu Yunfei. Everyone stared at the current Lu Wangshu, dumbfounded, startled, and bewildered. Isn't this elder sister at the Qi refinement realm? When did she break through to foundation establishment? And to be so formidable just after breaking through? Everyone was quite bewildered. Sister Wangshu, did you break through to foundation establishment? So impressive. Lu Qingyan exclaimed in amazement towards Lu Wangshu in front of her. Cultivate well, and you all can also reach foundation establishment soon. Lu Wangshu slightly lifted her palm, the crouched phoenix bird behind her dissipated, and she said with a bright smile. Such maneuvers consumed a lot of her mana. If not for the profound origin bead, she couldn't have performed it. However, seeing Lu Lingxiao's reaction, she didn't continue pretending. Otherwise, it would really be too demoralizing for this younger brother. Although there was a bit of showing off and playing around in her mind, she was also using this way to motivate him. This younger brother had exceptional talent and a strong character, always thinking about challenging his elder sister. If that's the case, she would present him with a challenge. Indeed, Sister Wangshu, the trio was indeed shocked by Lu Wangshu's recent maneuvers. Lu Lingxiao, you weren't too disheartened, were you? At this moment, Lu Wangshu came up to Lu Lingxiao and patted his shoulder, speaking out. Humph, Lu Wangshu, don't think I don't know, you must have relied on some external item to achieve this. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1146. Lu Lingxiao snorted coldly. Although he was young, he was not foolish. He naturally guessed that the methods his sister had just used were problematic, certainly not relying on any Supreme Tao foundation. Moreover, this sister's character, suddenly seeking him out and showboating like this, was certainly questionable. Still, despite saying such, a sensation of pressing pressure surged in his heart. He knew that even if he condensed a perfect foundation base, it would be difficult to surpass her. Sai, is it really that hard to admit that sister is stronger? Just behave a little better and sister might give you some tips. Sar the Novelier. N.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Wangshu did not care about Lu Lingxiao's attitude. If he easily submitted, she would find it uninteresting. Humph, at the same realm, I will definitely not be weaker than you. Lu Lingxiao declared, preparing to seek his master's advice. Goose goose goose. Seeing him like this, Lu Wangshu burst into unreserved laughter. Then she said to the other younger siblings, Yan Yan, Xingchen, Yun Fei, don't spread the word about what just happened. If their father found out she came to bully Lu Lingxiao again, he would surely scold her. Sister Wangshu, rest assured. The three nodded in response. White Tiger Mountain. In a valley. Boom boom boom. A tall, sturdy young man, his body gleaming with a precious light, was barehandedly fighting a fierce beast that was gigantic, with a wolf-like head and a scarlet vertical scar on its brow. The strikes from both the man and the beast were extremely fierce, clashing continuously with a clanging resonance, stirring up wind and thunder, echoing throughout the valley. If anyone witnessed this scene, they would be incredibly astonished. After all, demon beasts naturally possessed powerful physical bodies. Ordinary cultivators would never engage them in close combat, let alone barehanded. Especially as the young man fought the demon beast, stirring up dust and wind thunder, not falling short, exchanging blows that shattered numerous giant stones in the valley. Big Pot, Ching Song has something for you. At that moment, a 16 or 17-year-old girl, cute-looking with buns in her hair and riding windfire wheels, appeared. She cupped her hands to her mouth, shouting to the young man who was fighting the fierce beast. Hearing this noise, Lu Pingan and the 9 Netherhounds stopped and responded to his sister, Lu Lingyi, okay, coming. Moments later, after changing into a black robe, Lu Pingan joined his not-yet shoulder-high sister and asked, Xiaohe, what does Ching Song need? I have no clue. Lu Lingyi shook her little head, then said to Lu Pingan, you'll know once you go, Big Pot. I'm going to find Xiaohe to play. Saying that, she rode the windfire wheels to the massive 9 Netherhound, clenched her fists and crisply shouted, Come on, Xiaohe. The 9 Netherhound, looking at the girl before him with pupils glowing dark red, revealed a hint of helplessness. It thought that having reached this stage it would no longer need to babysit. But then Lu Lingyi came to White Tiger Mountain, often saw it practicing with Lu Pingan, and wanted to emulate them by sparring with it. Facing Lu Pingan, it could strike at will. And the two had been training together since childhood, forming a great understanding. But facing Lu Lingyi, if it applied a bit too much force with its claws, it would turn the girl into a mush. This process was infinitely more difficult than sparring with Lu Pingan. Mountain shaking fist. The girl shouted excitedly, throwing a punch at the 9 Netherhound. Although she knew only one punch, that punch was already full of momentum. As her fist shot forth, massive energy surged, carrying an unstoppable, indestructible force. Thud. The 9 Netherhound raised its paw very reluctantly, but put on a fierce appearance to accompany Lu Lingyi in her practice. Company caravan? In the hall, Lu Pingan listened to his younger siblings discuss the caravan matter, nodding in response. Okay, arrange these matters properly, set a time and inform me. He had no particular thoughts or opinions about the caravan matter. This business trip might require several years. He needed to return home in advance to visit his mother and talk to Su Jior. We just wanted to inform you in advance, brother. It will take some time to organize and form the company. If you have any opinions or needs, brother, we can arrange and prepare conveniently. Lu Qingsong spoke up. Organizing the caravan not only required planning the trade route and preparing manpower but also advanced preparation of goods, purchasing beasts of burden and storage boxes. The space in a normal storage bag was limited, and due to volume and weight constraints, using it for trading was very troublesome. The storage box, compared to the storage bag, not only had a capacity dozens of times larger but could also be outfitted with numerous prohibitions. Even if the storage box was robbed, breaking the prohibitions on it to steal the goods would be difficult, and their family could use the box's identifying mark to retrieve the merchandise. I have no particular opinions or needs, just arrange as you see fit, Lu Pingan said with a smile. Although he oversaw White Tiger Mountain, he had never interfered with family affairs for many years and had no interest in them. Okay. Lu Qingsong nodded, understanding his elder brother's temperament. Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Changxing Hall. Who? Lu Changxing opened his eyes and breathed out a long breath of turbid energy, finally recovering from the loss incurred by condensing the Tai Dao seed. However, seeing his dwindling supply of high-quality spirit stones, he sighed lightly. Continuing to cultivate like this, he would deplete all the high-quality spirit stones he had accumulated over the years. He rose and walked out of his cave mansion, glanced at Ling Zixio's cave mansion, and since she was not in Changxing Hall, he headed to the Lu family mansion. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1147, Husband, Master, Father, Daddy. When Lu Changxing had just arrived at the Lu family mansion, he was greeted by these affectionate calls. It must be said, the feeling was very pleasant. Each time he returned home, tired from cultivation, it was a moment of relaxation and comfort. Daddy, Daddy, I've reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement. At this moment, a cute little girl with an exquisite appearance, akin to a porcelain doll, saw Lu Changxing and affectionately called out. So fast, little chair, you're truly marvelous. Lu Changxing looked at his daughter with a face full of praise and said with a smile. Although this daughter had a 4th-grade spiritual root, due to her mother Lu Miaohuan's reason, not only was her body strong, but her meridians and dantian were also extraordinary. Thus, during the medicinal baths the effects were excellent, and now at the age of 11 she had already reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement. This made Lu Changxing feel emotional. In his own days he didn't have such conditions. Thinking back on his own past when there was no path for cultivation, he could only marry into the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, and it had taken almost a year just to channel Qi into his body. His hardships and pains could truly make the listeners sad and the hearers cry. Hee, my younger brother has also reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement, Lu Qingqi said, giggling, chattering non-stop as she shared amusing stories with Lu Changxing. Her son Lu Qingxian also came forward to greet Lu Changxing. Dressed in brocade robes and jade boots, his slightly naive face perfectly inherited the features from Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoge, handsome and tender, showing the hints of his illustrious future. Unlike his lively and boisterous sister, his personality was quiet and gentle. His bright eyes looked at his father and sister in front of him, and he would only speak up when Lu Changxing asked him something or when he was interested in something. Dad, I heard Brother Xingyang say that our family is setting up a trade association? At this moment, Lu Qingxian voiced his inquiry. Correct, what's the matter? Saw the novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing did not expect his son to be concerned about this, he said with a smile. I heard from Grandpa before, our family has always been feared by many other family forces. Once our family business expands beyond by Lake Mountain, it's easy to be targeted. Now that we are establishing a trade association, if Mom and Dad have to stay at home, only Brother Pingan and Brother Qingxian will manage it. But I heard from outsiders that our family is now considered a false core family, and when the time comes, other false core families might act against our trade association. Can just Brother Pingan and Brother Qingxian be enough to handle it? Lu Qingxian, with his clear eyebrows and high nose, red lips and white teeth, asked. Hearing his son's words, Lu Changxing raised his eyebrows slightly, his tone gentle. In disputes between forces, negotiation is the main approach when it escalates. They won't make things utterly hostile. These family forces will at most probe and suppress us, making our business unsustainable and forcing us to retreat. However, these families would only deploy cultivators up to the late stage of foundation establishment. Currently, your eldest brother's strength is fully capable of handling and resolving these issues. Lu Changxing explained to his son. Regarding the true foundation of the family, only people like Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, and Lu Miaoyan were aware. Thus, Lu Qingxian was not fully informed of the true strength of the family and Lu Pinggan's real combat power. Wow, big brother is that powerful? Lu Qingqi, with her tiny face filled with surprise and mouth slightly agape, heard this. Although they were young, they had been taught the basics of cultivation since their enlightenment at 6 in the Lu Family Academy. They understood what the concept of a foundation establishment late stage meant. Yes, your big brother has an exceptional talent in body refinement and is also very diligent in his daily cultivation. Lu Changxing gently rubbed his daughter's elegantly styled little head, laughing as he spoke. If big brother goes to sit in the trade association, what about White Tiger Mountain? Lu Qingxian asked curiously. In his understanding, a foundation establishment cultivator must sit in the family spirit land to handle unexpected situations. Your sister Rui recently broke through to foundation establishment and can sit in White Tiger Mountain. However, your brother Yun and brother Xingqian are also preparing for foundation establishment. If they break through, they could also go to White Tiger Mountain. Lu Changxing faces his son's confusion and speaks directly. That makes sense. Lu Qingxian nodded thoughtfully. He thought to himself that it was indeed as he suspected. There might be other foundation establishment cultivators at home. If you're interested in this area, you can ask your brother Yun and brother Xingyang more often. Lu Changxing said with a smile. Although children with good talents generally don't take the position of family head, if his son has an interest he would be happy. And this son indeed had some talent and aptitude in management. Okay. Lu Qingxian nodded in response. Dad, Grandpa's health is getting worse. I plan to go stay in Qingzhou Mountain for a while to accompany Grandpa more. My brother and sister have also told us to visit Grandpa more often. Lu Qingxian continued lightly with his lips slightly pursed. These years, Lu Miaoge often brought him to Qingzhou Mountain to visit Grandpa Lu Yuanding. And Lu Yuanding also loved him very much as a grandson and they were very close. Many issues among family forces had been explained to him by Grandpa Lu Yuanding. Okay, when the time comes, Dad will take you there. Lu Changxing sighed internally, knowing that his father-in-law was likely to pass away in the next few years. Daddy, I will also go to visit Grandpa then. Lu Qingqi hearing this also seemed a bit downcast. They all knew that people die and their grandfather didn't have much time left. After chatting with his wives and children for a moment, Lu Changxing visited his son Lu Lingxiao's residence. Seeing his son talking with his wife Ling Zixiao. Zixiao, Xiao, what are you talking about? Lu Changxing approached with a cheerful smile. Xiao was asking me about how to cast hundreds of second-rank talismans after just breaking through foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1148. Ling Zixiao, dignified and elegant, looked at Lu Changxing and spoke irritably. Although her son didn't specifically name Lu Wangshu, she didn't need to think twice to realize what was going on. After all, she was well aware of the constant squabbles between her children and Lu Wangshu. She didn't necessarily see sibling fights as an issue. But just watching her son constantly bullied by Lu Wangshu, stubbornly gritting his teeth without ever seeking help from his father Lu Changxing, seeking some treasures, stubbornly wanting to compete with Lu Wangshu, made her feel frustrated. That girl is clever and strange, daily earning Lu Changxing's affection, with unknown numbers of treasures in her hand. Her own son is no match. Also looking at her son's stubbornness, she thought of her daughter Lu Lingyi. Compared to her son's resoluteness, her daughter Lu Lingyi was completely naive, deceived by Lu Wangshu and even helping count the money. Furthermore, her daughter was tricked repeatedly without learning her lesson, still affectionately addressing Lu Wangshu as elder sister, following her around like a shadow, which infuriates her for not being able to meet her expectations. Inexplicably, she, wise all her life, couldn't understand how she ended up having such a pair of children, inheriting none of the cleverness. Cough cough. Lu Changxing, hearing what Ling Zixiao said, immediately understood the situation. He gently coughed and said, Wangshu, that girl is too unreasonable, ill-discipline her later. Umph. Ling Zixiao, hearing this, rolled her eyes, not believing that her husband would truly be willing to discipline their cherished daughter. My husband, Shower, has some cultivation issues he wants to consult Senior Red Lotus about, but Miaoyun mentioned that the ancient talisman is in Qinsha's hands, yet it seems Senior Red Lotus isn't within the talisman. Ling Zixiao did not dwell on the matter of their children, instead she voiced out her query. Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. After hearing this, Lu Changxing slapped his forehead and said. He explained that Red Lotus was inside a dead tree stump in the Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven Medicine Garden. Sun's cultivation doubts can be addressed by heading to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, calling out to Red Lotus by the Peachwood Spirit Womb. Why is Senior Red Lotus in that dead tree stump? Ling Zixiao voiced in surprise. She had noticed an additional tree stump in the medicine garden before, but had not paid it much mind. This dead tree stump is named Peachwood Spirit Womb. It is a spiritual embryo of heaven and earth, and Red Lotus plans to use this spiritual embryo as a body. Lu Changxing didn't conceal this from his wife and spoke directly. Spiritual embryo of heaven and earth? Ling Zixiao suddenly revealed a surprised expression. Lu Lingxiao was somewhat puzzled, not knowing what a spiritual embryo of heaven and earth was. But from the conversation he roughly understood that his master is in the process of restructuring a body. Well, probably in a few years Red Lotus will be able to reconstruct the physical body. Lu Changxing said gently. Red Lotus' identity he kept hidden from other wives and children. But there was nothing to hide from Ling Zixiao and their son Lu Lingxiao. This really is a congratulations to Senior Red Lotus. Xia the Oval Fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Ling Zixiao, dignified and elegant, smiled gracefully. Once this Senior Red Lotus reconstitutes a body, his cultivation might not return to its peak, but it certainly won't be weak. Having such a master for her son is also tantamount to having an additional support. However, once Senior Red Lotus reconstitutes his physical body, it seems inevitable he won't escape from her husband's control. In this way, the master-disciple relationship between her son and this Senior Red Lotus doesn't seem to hold much advantage. Shower, have you encountered any issues in your cultivation? Lu Changxing looked at his son Lu Lingxiao, asking aloud. As a nascent soul immortal, with so many cultivation techniques inherited in his mind, he is capable of guiding his son in cultivation. No, just wanted to consult my master about the Tao Foundation. Lu Lingxiao gently shook his head. Listening to his son's words, Lu Changxing immediately understood that this was caused by Lu Wangshu's behavior making him somewhat question life. He promptly said, Don't listen to Wangshu's nonsense about the Supreme Tao Foundation, there is no such thing. A perfect foundation base is already flawless, only a great opportunity can cause the foundation to transform. The reason she could achieve this was entirely relying on a treasure, with mana comparable to a foundation establishment mid-stage. Lu Changxing spoke out, very experienced in these matters. But his son's character was indeed straightforward. In his youth, when Lu Wangshu mentioned that one must stay awake during a medicinal bath for the best effects, he stubbornly stayed awake throughout the bath without sleeping. Did Sister Wangshu's foundation undergo any transformation above the perfect foundation base? Upon hearing this, Lu Lingxiao immediately asked. Still a bit off. Lu Changxing shook his head and said. Causing the Tao Foundation to transform is extremely difficult. Even in his own youth, it was only due to a coincidental chance with the effects of Great Sun Essence, Taiyin Moonlight and Spirit Nurturing Energy that such a transformation occurred. Looking at his son's eyes burning with fierce determination, Lu Changxing thoughtfully said, You don't need to rush the foundation establishment. Solidify your foundation well, and later your father will prepare something for you. Now, among his children at home when it comes to talent, this son in front of him is the foremost. But besides allowing Red Lotus to carefully instruct him, he hasn't given much assistance to his son. Mainly because there's no suitable treasure for him. He wanted to obtain a heavenly spiritual fire, but has only gathered information about a few second-rank heavenly spiritual fires over the years, none of which suited Lu Lingxiao. Therefore, for this trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, Lu Changxing plans to hunt several demon kings. Then, using the demon king's essence blood to concoct a medicinal bath to baptize his son, solidifying his foundation. Thank you, father. Upon hearing this, Lu Lingxiao immediately bowed. Beside him, Ling Zixiao hearing this, her graceful face also revealed a hint of a smile. It is known that even within the immortal sects, a perfect foundation base is considered a true inheritor. equivalent to a nascent soul seed level existence. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1149. Even many true inheritors of immortal sects only possess a flawless Tao foundation. Yet my own son has set the perfect foundation base as his goal. And he has a high probability of condensing a perfect foundation base. You should listen to your sister Wangshu less. After your foundation establishment, Daddy will prepare some treasures for you. They definitely won't be inferior to hers. Lu Changxing patted his son's shoulder, thinking to himself that when the time comes, he should prepare some treasures for his son. Otherwise, his son could be bullied by his daughter Lu Wangshu to death. After the conversation with his son Lu Lingxiao, Lu Changxing told Ling Zixiao that they could now start to deal with the dragon roar physique. My efforts are for you, my lord. Upon hearing this, Ling Zixiao responded with a light smile. The two then proceeded to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Lu Changxing called over Lu Miaoge, who was currently cultivating. It wasn't to have Miaoge contribute to the mood. Rather, in the event of any unforeseen circumstances during the process that might trigger a reaction from the dragon roar physique, Miaoge could help suppress it using the water of virtue technique. Or use the Tai True water to immediately heal and nourish Ling Zixiao's physical body. Changxing Hall. The cave mansion was simple and elegant, filled with a faint and refined fragrance. Zixiao, Sister Miaoge. Lu Changxing looked at his wife with a grave expression, signaling he was about to begin. Okay. Lu Miaoge was dressed in a plain white robe, sitting elegantly beside the bed. My lord. Hearing this, Ling Zixiao took the initiative to wrap her arms around Lu Changxing's neck and kissed him. Sia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Moments later, the two undressed and began to operate the Sun Moon Samsara technique. This cultivation technique was very useful. Whether for dual cultivation, breaking through, or entering a state of meditation, it had great effects. Zixiao. Lu Changxing looked at Ling Zixiao, whose beauty was radiant and alluring with flushed cheeks and soft, supple skin, and reminded her aloud. This indicated he was operating the yin-yang creation scripture. Within the Qi ocean core, the golden core seemed like a purple sun, bursting forth with golden rays of light. A black and white yin-yang fish swam, roaring ferociously. Under the surging golden core true essence, it transcended and leaped into a dragon. The true dragon plunged into the secluded abyss, seeking its target for this journey. Roar. In the abyss, there was a blazing and domineering dragon ball. Seeing the true dragon approach, it roared fiercely, exuding a terrifying and shocking presence. Roar. However, facing the dragon ball, the true dragon showed no fear and swallowed it directly. Boom. The black and white dragon's body seemed to catch a rolling flame, beginning to burn. Facing this situation, the true dragon coiled, forming a yin-yang Taoist chart, suppressing and refining the dragon ball. Ling Zixiao's full and straight legs tensed up, her toes wrapped in white socks also clenched tightly, rubbing against Lu Changxing's back, her blushing face showing a pained groan. She felt excruciating agony, as the dragon roar origin was one with her, and this reversal of yin and yang was extremely painful for her. Seeing this, Lu Miaoge immediately went forward to alleviate Ling Zixiao's pain, using Tai True water to nourish her body. Lu Changxing continuously operated the yin-yang creation scripture, pouring his own golden core true essence into Ling Zixiao's body ceaselessly, to produce a hint of yin in the dragon roar origin. As long as a hint of yin was born from the yang, there would be a yin-yang balance, no longer affected by the dragon roar physique. However, it has to be mentioned that the dragon roar physique truly lived up to its reputation as a top-tier physique. Even though Ling Zixiao was only at the foundation establishment cultivation, wanting to completely suppress her dragon roar origin and reverse yin and yang was exceedingly difficult for him. If Shiyu were here, it might have helped somewhat. At that moment, Lu Changxing thought of Xianxia. Her moonlight physique was a yin spiritual body. If they used Xianxia's Taiyin moonlight essence as a guide, maybe the process would be much easier. But now this is sufficient. Lu Changxing, supporting Ling Zixiao's voluptuous waist, said to Lu Miaoge, Sister Miaoge, stabilize Zixiao's condition. After speaking, he turned his golden core origin into the utmost yin and gentle force, surging with all his power. Boom. In an instant, yin-yang source within Ling Zixiao turned into a profound darkness, the circulating yin-yang Taoist chart resembling a deep black hole, constantly revolving, suppressing and refining the Dragon Ball inside. Roar roar roar. The Dragon Roar origin roared furiously, as if it wanted to tear through the Taoist chart and break free. But faced with the potent and astonishing yin-yang source, it was powerless. Thus, the two forces of yin and yang began their struggle and opposition. Throughout this merging process, Ling Zixiao raised her exquisite neck, her body trembling, her voice whimpering, tugging at one's heartstrings. Sister Ling. Lu Miaoge continued to nourish Ling Zixiao's body, suppressing the dragon roar of yang energy spreading from her meridians and dantian. This process was extremely dangerous. Had it not been for Lu Miaoge's presence, Lu Changxing would have had to divide his attention to stabilize Ling Zixiao's body using nirvana art and life transference technique. Time passed by little. No one knew how long it had been. Ling Zixiao's face turned pale as she nearly lost consciousness. But eventually her bodhish dragon roar origin let out a mournful sound, under the profound black Taoist chart, showing a bit of golden luster. Slowly it merged with the dark Taoist chart, forming an intermingled pattern of black and white. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1150. On the bed, Ling Zixiao's eyes fluttered deliriously, her lips bright red and breath heavy, her delicate body limp and covered in glistening sweat beads, lying atop Lu Changxing. Lu Changxing's palm gently caressed the soft, delicate snow-like skin of the beauty. Beside them, Lu Miaoge held Ling Zixiao's pale wrist, nourishing her meridians and dantian silently with the water of virtue technique. Moments later, Lu Changxing softly asked Ling Zixiao, "Zixiao, how do you feel now?" Ling Zixiao hummed softly, quietly sensing the condition of her body. After a short while, her clear, water-like beautiful eyes revealed a touch of surprise and delight. "My lord, I feel that the effects of the dragon roar physique have dissipated, forming a new benign effect. But the specific effects need to be gradually understood through cultivation." Ling Zixiao looked at Lu Changxing, her face filled with excitement and joy. This dragon roar physique had troubled her for too long. Even though Lu Changxing had been suppressing it before, her cultivation was still intermittent, not daring to be too aggressive. Fearing that during cultivation the dragon roar physique might cause some problems again. At this moment, the dragon roar physique had finally been thoroughly resolved. She felt like she was breaking free from shackles and cages, overwhelmed by indescribable joy and excitement. She was naturally talented, possessing a third-grade spirit root. Lu Changxing resolving her dragon roar physique did not abolish it. SAR the Novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Instead, using the dragon roar physique as a foundation, he reversed yin and yang to form a new spiritual body effect. Although this spiritual body effect was not as astonishing as the original dragon roar physique, it at least had a beneficial effect on her cultivation, no longer a negative one. In such a situation, Ling Zixiao felt confident about her future prospects of reaching core formation. "Congratulations, Sister Ling." Lu Miaoge looked at Ling Zixiao's somewhat pale and weak face, sincerely congratulating her. Having been together for so many years, she knew well how severely the other was affected by the dragon roar physique. If not for the dragon roar physique, with her talent, she would have reached the late stage of foundation establishment long ago. Moreover, Ling Zixiao had exceptional talent in the formation path, and if she had wished to join any faction, she was fully capable of reaching core formation solely through her efforts. "Zixiao, if you feel any discomfort during cultivation, you must tell me immediately." Lu Changxing spoke gently to Ling Zixiao. Resolving the dragon roar physique this way was just his hypothesis, which he believed feasible. But it could not completely guarantee that there would be no issues. If there were problems, he would use the dragon invocation technique to directly tackle and resolve the dragon roar physique. Ling Zixiao nodded in response. "Zixiao, you still seem a bit weak. Let your husband continue to treat you. Sister Miaoge, you've also worked hard." Instantly the atmosphere within the cave mansion became lively with the essence of spring. 3 days later, Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoge, along with their son Lu Qingxian and daughter Lu Qingqi, came to Qingzhou Mountain to visit Lu Yuanding. "Changxing, Miaoge, you are here. Grandfather, grandmother." Lu Yuanzhong along with the new family head came to greet Lu Changxing and his wife. He had suffered severe injuries in his early years, and now appeared somewhat aged with white hair, like a man in his 50s. Uncle, grandfather. Lu Changxing and others nodded to Lu Yuanzhong. As for the new family head, they didn't pay much attention. Decades had passed and there were fewer and fewer people familiar to Lu Changxing in Qingzhou Mountain. The group arrived at a small courtyard in Qingzhou Valley. Lu Yuanding's face was weathered, his hair white. Seeing Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoge and their 2 grandchildren coming, his dull eyes immediately brightened up with divine light, rising from the recliner with a somewhat hunched back and exclaimed, "Changxing Miaoge Xianxia, you're here. Grandfather, grandfather." The 2 young children sensibly rushed forward to support their grandfather. Father-in-law. Lu Changxing called out, vaguely remembering the latter's appearance at the foot of Qingyun Sect's mountain in the past. Unknowingly, the other had gone from a gentle and elegant middle-aged man to such a weathered old man. Father. Lu Miaoge went forward to support her own father, nourishing his body with Tai True water. Lu Yuanding had suffered many injuries in his early years. The fact he could live up to now was entirely due to lifespan extension pills and care by Lu Miaoge. After a while, Lu Yuanding cheerfully talked with his 2 grandchildren. During the conversation he also showed concern for Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoge, and asked about Lu Miaohuan as well as Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu who were far away in Yu country. However, after half an hour, Lu Yuanding became tired and needed to rest. Sigh. After staying a day in Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Changxing then went to White Tiger Mountain, prepared to bring his daughter Lu Lingyi home. Once Ling Zixio's Dragon Roar physique was confirmed to be resolved without issues, he would take care of his daughter's Dragon Roar physique. After all, for a female cultivator the Dragon Roar physique was always like a time bomb. Even though Lu Ling's Dragon Roar physique was a deficient physique, and Lu Changxing could easily suppress it, it was still better to be cautious and resolve it early. For this reason, Lu Changxing had always left his daughter's cultivation largely to its own over the years. However, upon arriving at White Tiger Mountain, he learned that his son Lu Pinggan had gone to Rui Prefecture, and his daughter Lu Lingyi had gone with him. Regarding this, he simply asked Lu Qingsong to pass a message to Lu Pinggan, telling him to bring Lu Lingyi back to Bai Lake Mountain after returning. Rui County City Lu family. Although the Lu family was a newly risen clan in Rui Prefecture, thanks to the fame of the family patriarch, Lu Changxing, it had now become the most prominent family power in the entire Rui Prefecture. At this moment, in front of the Lu family mansion, numerous Lu family disciples knelt down, being whipped. Pit-a-pat, 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 the sound of whips swinging rose, accompanied by shrieks. Lu Pinggan, tall and majestic with a face as stern as ice, watched this scene unfold. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1151. On his trip home he inadvertently heard about instances of bullying and oppression within the family and immediately went to investigate. With the backing of the Rui Marquis mansion, it didn't take long for him to find out what was happening and to become aware of the growing negative influence within the family. This made him extremely angry. The family had only been established for a few decades, but such situations had already arisen. The Lu family allows mediocrity and incompetence, but it absolutely does not allow anyone to rely on the family's power to commit wrongdoing outside. Many families fell into decline precisely because of a lack of discipline, with the descendants becoming arrogant and overbearing. It's true that behind Rui County's Lu family there is the support of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family. But if these perverse and evil tendencies aren't curbed in time, the entire family could be affected in the future, potentially even impacting Blue Lake Mountain. Big brother, I dare not do it again, I will never dare again. A young man's robe was torn from the whip's lashes, his back a bloody mess as he screamed in pain. Not just him, there were others calling out to their uncle or grandfather, even some had fainted from the pain. Yet the whipping continued unabated, with no mercy, causing the air to crackle with the sound, the flesh mangled. After all, the young man who seemed to be the one doing the whipping was not only an immortal, but also the eldest son of the Lu family. On such a large scale and with such severity, who would dare to ask for leniency? Big brother. Lu Wuyu looked at this scene, his gaze shifting shamefully towards Lu Pinggan. Although he had relinquished the position of family head, as the first family head he still held considerable power and authority within the family. The current situation was partly his responsibility as well. In the future, the Lu family inspector will report to the Marquis mansion yearly about Lu residence matters. Our father is too busy to manage these, so as the eldest son, It is my responsibility to oversee these affairs. Lu Pingan looked at his gray-haired younger brother and sighed slightly. He understood that his younger brother Lu Wuyu was getting older. The new family head, when dealing with some of the elders, especially those who came from Blue Lake Mountain, might find it challenging to be too strict. And it was precisely due to this that some unfavorable tendencies had begun to appear within the family. Uncle Hong, if Rui Marquis Mansion encounters such incidents again, please send someone to Blue Lake Mountain to notify me. Lu Pingan looked to the side at Hong Yi, who was dressed in fine robes with gray hair. Although he disliked dealing with family affairs, he absolutely didn't want to watch his own family turn into what he loathed most when he was younger. Therefore, in addition to the family's own supervision, he also requested the monitoring by Rui Marquis Mansion. Don't worry, Your Excellency. I will surely have my family pay close attention to this matter. Hong Yi looked at the young man standing tall and firm before him with a restrained and reverent tone. He was well aware that this eldest son of the Lu family was a famed Foundation establishment cultivator who had once repelled a veteran Foundation establishment mid-stage cultivator. But seeing the current form of Lu Pingan, he somewhat remembered how righteous the other party was in his youth. Decades later, there had been no change. Uncle Hong, please feel free to visit Blue Lake Mountain when you're free. Father often mentions you. Lu Pingan said aloud. Certainly, certainly. Hong Yi nodded in response. Naturally, he did not believe that Lu Changxing talked much about him. But the fact that such a distinguished foundation-building great cultivator showed him such courtesy was still surprising. After everyone had received their lashings, Lu Pingan spoke gravely. After these people wake up, confine them all within the family, grounded for 10 years. If anyone dares to offend again, the consequences will be more than just confinement. In an instant, all the Lu family disciples fell silent, completely respectful in their response. After carrying out the family discipline, Lu Pingan also announced a few measures within the family. In addition to punishments and rewards, he made some adjustments to certain family matters. Although he was not interested in family affairs, it didn't mean he was ignorant. When he was young, his mother Lu Lanshu always intended to train him for the position of Lu residence family head. So by being immersed in it from a young age, he understood many principles. Moreover, he wasn't autocratic, adjusting things based on the situations brought forward by his brother Lu Wuyu, as well as Hong Yi and others from within the family. After handling all matters, he left Rui County City with his sister Lu Lingyi. With such a son overseeing and disciplining the family traditions will be upright. Hong Yi watched Lu Pingan depart, reflecting inwardly. Even though under his stewardship, Rui Marquis Mansion had developed rapidly thanks to the relationships with Blue Lake Mountain and expanded into an energy-refining family. The more it was so, the more worried he was, treading on thin ice. He knew that once he passed away, if his children did not manage well, the family could plummet. Sarthan of Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. As a Foundation establishment cultivator, Lu Pingan, who was now in his 50s or 60s, was in his prime. With him overseeing, at least for the next 100 years, the Lu family would not face such issues. If only Xuanji had a middle-grade spiritual root. At this moment, Hong Yi thought of his son Hong Xuanji, sighing. He had sent his son to Blue Lake Mountain early on, and he had married Lu Changsheng's daughter Lu Caizhen. Now his son held a steward position in the Lu family, responsible for marketplace business, and there was a hope that before the age of 60, he might reach the peak of qi refining and attempt Foundation establishment. But his son was only of 7th grade spiritual root. Attempting Foundation establishment was utterly impossible. Even if he could ask Lu Changxing for a meridian-protecting elixir and Foundation establishment spiritual objects with decades of savings, his son could still not succeed in Foundation establishment. Alas, thinking this, Hong Yi felt a surge of envy towards Lu Changxing. Not only was he highly reputable, but his wife Lu Miaoge was also renowned, comparable to a false core immortal. Among his children, there were also the 2 great Foundation establishment cultivators, Lu Pingan and Lu Qingxian. 60 years ago, who could have imagined that a country boy would come so far? However, with this relationship at least for 100 years after my death, the Hong family will be without worry. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1152. Hong Yi took a deep breath, convinced that befriending Lu Changxing was the best decision he had made in his life. With this relationship with Lu Changxing, at least the Hong family would not encounter any major problems for 100 years after his death. As for what happened after 100 years, that was no longer his concern. Congratulations to the host for the birth of 1,000 progeny, you have earned one advanced level lottery opportunity. That day, a system notification rang in the mind of Lu Changxing. Just 1,000? Lu Changxing was somewhat surprised and emotional upon seeing that he had over 1,000 grandchildren. Out of these 1,000 grandchildren, apart from a few from earlier years and those with spiritual roots, he had not met 90% of them, which truly embarrassed him. However, thinking that among these 1,000 grandchildren, only a little more than 40 possessed spiritual roots, Lu Changxing sighed again. It must be known that these 40 or so were due to the children of by Lake Mountain gradually starting families and having children, which increased the probability. If it were just the secular offspring, the probability would be simply dismal. Through this, one could well perceive how difficult it is for mortals to give birth to offspring with spiritual roots. Advanced level lottery. Lu Changxing took a deep breath, silently murmuring in his heart, looking forward to what he might receive in this draw. Ordinary lotteries had little chance of surprising him anymore. But an advanced level lottery, as long as he didn't draw some trash cultivation technique, would be of great help to him. Immediately the advanced level wheel appeared. Glimmering with golden light, it stopped on the heavenly and earthly treasures reward segment under Lu Changxing's gaze. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining Xianxia Spiritual Vine. The reward has been issued to the system space. The host can inspect it at any time. Instantly, a verdant and lush vine emerged from the lottery wheel, coupled with a system notification sound. Xianxia Spiritual Vine? A heaven and earth spiritual plant? Lu Changxing's heart skipped a beat upon seeing the form of the reward, guessing it was a kind of heaven and earth spiritual plant. However, this spiritual plant appeared in the advanced level lottery and had the word Xianxia attached to it, which sounded quite extraordinary. Lu Changxing's mental spirit stirred, gazing into the system space. Xianxia Spiritual Vine, grade 5th rank. Description: the Xianxia Immortal Vine is a companion spiritual vine that can inconspicuously gather nature's spiritual energy, grow for 10,000 years and condense into Xianxia spirit fruit. Gathering nature's spiritual energy? Lu Changxing was astonished by the effects of the Xianxia spiritual vine. The notion of spiritual energy was elusive and hard to grasp. This Xianxia spiritual vine could actually inconspicuously gather nature's spiritual energy, which was astounding. But isn't this fruit too difficult to grow? It takes 10,000 years just to bear fruit? Lu Changxing frowned slightly upon seeing it took 10,000 years for it to bear Xianxia spirit fruit. Even with the myriad spirits bottle, it would take him a century or two to make this Xianxia spiritual vine bear fruit. Though 100 or 2 years might be short for a 5th rank spiritual vine for Lu Changxing, it sounded like an eternity. Wait, this Xianxia spiritual vine is a 5th rank spirit plant? Does it mean I have to plant it on a 4th order spirit vein? If that's the case, wouldn't it be a mere trifle? Lu Changxing murmured to himself, feeling somewhat uncomfortable as he gazed at the Xianxia spiritual vine in front of him. Currently, even a 3rd order spirit vein was not available at home, let alone thinking about a 4th order spirit vein. Unless he turned the myriad beasts mountain range upside down, nurturing a 4th order spirit vein was simply impossible. However, as he was entangled in his thoughts, some information emerged from the Xianxia spiritual vine before his eyes. Search * the novel, F. Ire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing instantly realized that this Xianxia spiritual vine was different from ordinary spiritual plants. It did not require spiritual energy at all. Once rooted in the earth's veins, it could form a spirit vein. If planted on top of a spirit vein, it could connect with the earth's veins, accelerate the growth of the spirit vein, and inconspicuously gather nature's spiritual energy, shielding the heavenly secrets. What a treasure indeed! Lu Changxing's eyes lit up with the information, feeling overjoyed. Unexpectedly, this Xianxia spiritual vine not only didn't need a spirit vein but could also accelerate the growth of one. Even without the effect of condensing Xianxia spirit fruit in 10,000 years, in his view, just accelerating the spirit vein's growth and gathering nature's spiritual energy inconspicuously, made this Xianxia spiritual vine a top-tier spiritual object. The advanced level lottery indeed never disappoints me, Lu Changxing exclaimed with a pleased face. He promptly extracted the Xianxia spiritual vine from the system space, eager to plant it. In an instant, a vine as green as jade appeared before Lu Changxing. Had it not been for the system's introduction, he would have never guessed the vine before him to be a fifth-rank heaven and earth spiritual plant. It seemed quite simple and unadorned. However, after extracting the Xianxia spiritual vine, Lu Changxing gained a more detailed understanding of it. Once the Xianxia spiritual vine took root, the accumulated nature's spiritual energy did not enhance a single person. Rather, it belonged to the spirit vein land in which it was planted, blessing all the cultivators there, contributing to the collective destiny. Nevertheless, carrying the Xianxia spiritual vine with him also had the effect of obfuscating heavenly secrets and subtly improving destiny. As for the Xianxia spirit fruit, it wasn't just an ordinary fruit but a treasure that would form according to the spirit vein's conditions and the environment in which it grew. Once the fruit solidified, the Xianxia spiritual vine would wither and dissipate. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1153. After the fruit is condensed, will the vine wither and dissipate? Lu Changxing looked at the Xianxia spiritual vine in front of him, a frown forming on his brow. He was just curious about the fruit that the Xianxia spiritual vine had condensed. But upon learning that the spiritual vine would wither away after condensing the spirit fruit, his interest waned considerably. Perhaps the Xianxia spirit fruit was even rarer. But for the time being, in his view, the effects of the Xianxia spiritual vine were more practical. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing arrived at the summit of Blue Cloud Peak and asked Mount Sumeru to dig a tunnel at the peak to connect with the spirit vein area. Boom boom boom. A commotion arose on the summit of Blue Cloud Peak. Half a moment later, a tunnel was formed. Lu Changxing passed through the tunnel and arrived at his family's spirit vein area, seeing the spiritual vein origin of Blue Cloud Peak. Go! Lu Changxing placed the jade-like Xianxia spiritual vine atop the spirit vein. The vine glowed green as it spread and grew, rooting itself and climbing over the spirit vein, lush and exuding a pure and rich vitality. Apart from the intense vitality and its rampant growth, there was no significant difference from before. However, upon closer inspection, Lu Changxing still noticed something extraordinary. The dense patterns on the vine seemed to be slowly flowing, intricate and profound, interwoven with truth and reason. Lu Changxing calmly gazed at the Xianxia spiritual vine before him, as if he could see a mysterious pattern in it. All things in full display, bursting with life, flowers blooming like a splendid tapestry, green leaves about to drip. Eventually, withering and decaying, returning to the earth's origin, cycling endlessly the ebb and flow of years. After a long while. It is said that many techniques and abilities are realized by cultivators observing the fundamental nature of the world. Seems there is truth to that. Lu Changxing sighed deeply, murmuring to himself. Realizing the patterns on the Xianxia spiritual vine were far from simple, evolving some intricate and profound rules and order. If he could grasp the principles and truths from it, perhaps he could comprehend a set of top-tier techniques and divine skills. And even without deciphering any techniques and abilities, he would still gain immensely from it. However, Lu Changxing knew his own level of comprehension. It was also difficult for him to settle down and spend decades or even centuries to contemplate the rules and principles of the spiritual vine. Such pure spiritual energy. At this moment, Lu Changxing noticed that within the thriving vitality of the Xianxia spiritual vine, a pure and rich spiritual energy was emanating. This spiritual energy was very pure and concentrated, having reached the third order of nature's spiritual energy, continuously nourishing his family's spirit vein. Through the origin spirit pupillary art, Lu Changxing immediately saw that under the nourishment of the Xianxia spiritual vine's aura, his family's spirit vein was in a state of rapid growth. He estimated that in 50 to 60 years, it could autonomously ascend to the second-tier top-level spirit vein. For an ordinary family, for a spirit vein to be able to ascend from second-order superior to second-tier top-level in 50 to 60 years would be extremely fast. But to Lu Changxing, could this growth that takes 50 to 60 years to reach second-tier top-level really be considered growth? It seems that for my spirit vein to advance, I still have to rely on myself. Otherwise, to depend on the Xianxia spiritual vine to upgrade the spirit vein to third rank would be an unknown number of years in the future. However, the higher the grade of the Biyun Peak spiritual vein, the better the effect of the Xianxia spiritual vine, so I should really cultivate the spirit vein of Bai Lake Mountain properly. Lu Changxing saw that the effects of the Xiantian spiritual vine were closely related to the spirit veins it rooted in. He planned to upgrade the Biyun Peak spiritual vein to quasi-third order after his excursion to the Myriad Beasts mountain range. In this way, not only would the family's spiritual energy greatly improve, but the effects of the Xiantian spiritual vine would also be enhanced. It's too bad I can't see the fortune situation. Lu Changxing's eyes shimmered with purple luster as he continuously examined the Xiantian spiritual vine but was unable to discern the effects of gathering the world's fortune. He only knew that after the spiritual vine rooted, it would gather the fortune of heaven and earth, thus blessing everyone on Blue Cloud Peak. Even this effect would radiate from Blue Cloud Peak to the entire Lake Mountain and even the surrounding area of Lake Mountain. Regardless, the Lu family disciples who lived long-term on Blue Cloud Peak would certainly benefit the most. After planting the Xiantian spiritual vine, Lu Changxing stepped out of the tunnel and instructed Mount Sumeru to take care of the spiritual vine on a daily basis. Report to him immediately if there was any unexpected disturbance. If he was not around, then notify Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun and Ling Zixiao. Yes, master. Mount Sumeru responded, its voice ethereal and pure, gentle and faint, sounding very pleasant. I wonder if Hong Lian knows about the Xiantian spiritual vine? Lu Changxing pondered secretly, heading to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, beside the Peachwood Spirit Womb and called out to Hong Lian. Hong Lian? What is it you need, young master? Although Hong Lian was in a semi-sleeping state. But upon hearing Lu Changxing's voice, she responded immediately. Have you ever heard of the Xiantian Immortal Vine? Lu Changxing asked aloud. He learned through the system's introduction that his Xiantian spiritual vine was a companion vine of the Xiantian Immortal Vine, so he wanted to know more about this aspect. The Xiantian Immortal Vine? Hong Lian was shocked. She couldn't help but wonder if Lu Changxing possessed a Xiantian Immortal Vine. After all, the young master often inquired about certain things from her. Search * the novel, F.I.R. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. These things seemed unrelated. But soon enough she would see related items from Lu Changxing. Young master, I have never heard about the Xiantian Immortal Vine either. But I have seen a saying, anything titled with Xiantian belongs to the level of an exceptionally rare treasure. Hong Lian's voice was ethereal and clear, saying so. Then do you have any understanding of such Xiantian treasures? Lu Changxing raised an eyebrow, continuing to inquire. Regarding this, I also have no understanding, merely having heard a bit here and there, not sure if it's true. It is rumored that such treasures crowned with the name Xiantian are manifestations of the world's rules, containing part of the origin source, and possess the effect of suppressing one's fortune. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1154. There are also rumors that such Xiantian treasures are existences far beyond heavenly spirit treasures, and that only great vehicle true immortals can control them. Regardless, such Xiantian treasures are already beyond the grasp of those at the nascent soul transcendent level, let alone above the state of transformation into divinity, returning to the void, merging with the Tao. They are greatly attractive to great vehicle true immortals. Hong Lian spoke slowly. At the height of her power, she was indeed a nascent soul true lord. But she also only knew of the existence of the deity of transformation. As for those beyond the state of transformation into divinity, returning to the void, merging with the Tao or reaching the great vehicle, she had never heard of them. These Xiantian treasures were also known through some ancient books and handbooks passed down from ancient times. Her understanding of them was partial and she could not be certain of their authenticity. Far beyond heavenly spirit treasures, only the great vehicle true immortals can control. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing's brows slightly furrowed, feeling that his Xiantian spiritual vine might not be so rare and powerful. After all, the Xiantian spiritual vine is only 5th rank, and no matter how powerful, its potential should be limited. There may also be different levels among Xiantian treasures. For example, the Xiantian immortal vine is much rarer and more powerful. And the Xiantian spiritual vine is just an accompanying vine to the Xiantian immortal vine, belonging to the lowest level? Lu Changxing guessed in his heart. He continued to ask, Hong Lian, do you know of any ways to observe Qi luck? Qi luck. After pondering for a moment, Hong Lian replied, Young master, personal Qi luck is elusive and hard to capture or observe. If it is about the fortune of a sect's power, those proficient in divination, extrapolation, and feng shui can discern the general state of qi luck. After finishing, Hong Lian added with some uncertainty, perhaps there are some supreme treasures or pupil skill divine abilities that can observe qi luck, but I am not very clear about this aspect. Divination, extrapolation, feng shui? Lu Changxing nodded, knowing that within the 100 arts of cultivation, there are professions such as diviner, life fate manipulator, feng shui master, etc., which subtly involve qi luck and fortune. However, these professions are exceedingly rare. Artifact refiners, alchemists, formation masters, and talisman masters can be met with ease wherever one goes. But he had never seen practitioners of the aforementioned professions. What use is the qi luck of a sect's power? Lu Changxing continued to inquire. Sar the novel undershifar. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Regarding personal qi luck, he was aware of effects like turning disaster into blessings and finding treasures upon stepping out of the door. But he didn't quite understand the collective qi luck of a sect. It couldn't possibly mean that treasures would fall from the sky, right? The matter of qi luck is extremely mysterious, with no clear definition. If a sect's qi luck is abundant, then relatively speaking, it is easy for this sect to produce genius disciples. For example, some geniuses subconsciously choose to join such a sect, or an elder of the sect encounters a genius disciple and so on. Under the care of a sect's qi luck, its disciples may find it easier to break through realms, comprehend cultivation techniques, and reduce the incidence of heart demons and deviations during their cultivation. Or perhaps disciples who are already fortunate might intuitively make the right choices when encountering events outside, influenced by subtle intuition. Overall, the qi luck of a sect's power is not very noticeable on an individual, but on the whole, it quietly influences a positive development. Hong Lian's voice sounded ethereal and pleasant as she spoke slowly. I see. Lu Changxing nodded slightly, roughly understanding that collective qi luck acts as a sort of overall enhancement buff. On an individual, it might have a minimal effect with no marked impact, adding just a touch of splendor. But when applied collectively, it brings many intangible and substantial benefits. Speaking of which, if the qi luck is good, does that mean if children are born on by Lake Mountain, would they be more likely to have spiritual roots, and with better spiritual root talent? Lu Changxing mused in his heart. The matter of giving birth is inherently greatly influenced by luck. If it is backed by the added bonus of qi luck, perhaps the quality of offspring in the family could rise a notch. Alas, it's a pity I can't see the effects of qi luck. Lu Changxing sighed, hoping that one day he would acquire the skills of a diviner or feng shui master. In this way he would be able to observe the qi luck of his family, and determine their fortune and misfortune. Alright, you rest well. Without asking further, Lu Changxing went to accompany his wives and children at the Lu family mansion. A month later, Ling Zixiao told Lu Changxing that there were no abnormalities in her cultivation process. This new spiritual body, in addition to providing a certain boost to the speed of cultivation, also has a nurturing effect on the physical body. Whether there are other effects, she herself is not clear. However, she speculated that this spiritual body should be considered a weakened version of the dragon roar physique, and may slightly aid in breaking through realms. It's good that there are no issues. Lu Changxing held his wife's hand and responded with a gentle voice. After checking Ling Zixiao's physical condition a few times, he went to find his daughter Lu Lingyi to resolve her dragon roar physique. Some time ago, Lu Pingan had already sent his daughter back and spoke to him about the matters of Rui Prefecture. Regarding the situation in Rui Prefecture, Lu Changxing didn't comment much, only sighed, indicating that Lu Pingan had worked hard. The two of them came to Bai Shui Lake, and immediately saw Lu Wangshu fishing with Lu Lingyi. To be precise, it was Lu Wangshu fishing, while Lu Lingyi was using a spear to catch fish. Seeing her own daughter with her pants rolled up, standing on windfire wheels, holding a fish spear and constantly spearing fish, the normally gracefully poised Ling Zixiao was momentarily stiff. She didn't expect her daughter to be highly educated and reasonable, but at least she should have some lady-like appearance, right? This manner, what will people think? Daddy, Mom? Father, Auntie. The two girls called out immediately upon seeing Lu Changxing and Ling Zixiao. However, Lu Wangshu felt somewhat guilty upon seeing the look on her Auntie Ling's face. This auntie usually paid great attention to posture and appearance, acting in an orderly fashion, neither hasty nor slow, and was very elegant. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1155. Seeing her daughter Lu Lingyi like this, she was obviously somewhat unhappy. Ha Xiaohe, Daddy has something to talk to you about. Lu Changxing pretended not to see his wife's expression and called out to his daughter with a gentle voice. Then he took his daughter to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven and fed her an elixir medicine, making her fall into a deep sleep. Inverting yin and yang, reversing the spirit-body origin was an extremely painful process. Thus, Lu Changxing had prepared the elixir medicine for his daughter long ago. Of course, it was because Lu Ling's condition wasn't severe and didn't require her cooperation. However, Lu Changxing still called over Lu Miaoge, instructing her to watch over her and use Tai True water to nourish her daughter's body. Suddenly, under Ling Zixio's somewhat anxious watch, Lu Changxing began resolving his daughter's dragon roar physique. The process was very smooth, and Lu Lingyi was unconscious throughout and did not feel anything. After a long time, when Lu Lingyi woke up, she was stunned and somewhat bewildered, saying, Daddy, Mommy, Auntie, why did I fall asleep? Xiaohe, do you feel any discomfort? Ling Zixiao immediately asked with concern. Lu Lingyi tilted her head, then looked at her fair and tender palms, clenched her fists and spoke out, Mom, I feel like my body is full of strength, I could kill a tiger with one punch. Upon hearing this, Ling Zixio's face stiffened. Xiaohe should be fine now. Lu Changxing touched his daughter's little head and said with a warm smile, Xiaohe, didn't you want to learn powerful cultivation techniques? Rest well these next few days and then Daddy will teach you. Mr. Lu had encountered very few setbacks, one of which was teaching his daughter Lu Lingyi cultivation. Now that his daughter's dragon roar physique issue was resolved, and he himself had made a core formation breakthrough, he could fully utilize magical treasures. Therefore, he was ready to use the Cave Mystique treasure mirror to instruct his daughter in her cultivation. However, having just resolved his daughter's dragon roar physique, he was greatly depleted and needed to rest and recover. Thank you, Daddy. Lu Lingyi immediately responded with joy upon hearing this. After chatting with his wife and daughter for a while, Lu Changxing left the Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven and went next to the Xiantian spiritual vine to sit and meditate, recovering his mana. Even when he meditated normally, the spiritual energy of the entire Bai Lake Mountain would be affected. Now with the Xiantian spiritual vine, this situation had improved. The spiritual energy exuding from the vine was pure and rich, comparable to a top-tier spiritual spring, enough for his meditative cultivation. However, such meditative cultivation would affect the spiritual vine's nourishment to the spirit vein. Now that Zishao and Ziahe's issues are resolved, I can almost head to the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Lu Changxing thought to himself while sitting cross-legged. However, for this trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, he intended to visit the Azure Phoenix Immortal City first, to deal with some of his spoils and also to see if there were any materials for crafting his magical treasures. I wonder what the current situation in Azure Phoenix Immortal City is like. How is Feiyu now? Lu Changxing thought of what Lu Miaoyun had told him earlier, that there had been significant turnover and unrest in the Azure Phoenix Immortal City, and he couldn't help but think of his friend in the city. Azure Phoenix Immortal City. A year ago, a dramatic change took place in Azure Phoenix Immortal City. The lineage of the ruling Azure Phoenix Immortal had been purged. Their core interests and powers were completely taken over by other families, merchant associations and sections. This purge was carried out swiftly and decisively, without causing too much turmoil in Azure Phoenix Immortal City. Even shortly after the reshuffle, with the disappearance of the Azure Phoenix Immortal, the previously unstable situation gradually stabilized. This led many loose cultivators who had left Azure Phoenix Immortal City to return to this sacred land for loose cultivators. At this very moment, within a dark prison cell of Azure Phoenix Immortal City. Taoist Li, why must you be so stubborn? Just tell us what happened with Azure Phoenix Immortal's discovery in the ruins of Myriad Beasts Mountain Range, and Master White Peak will not only let you resume your position as the capital commandant but is also willing to bestow numerous elixir medicines and heavenly and earthly treasures. A red-dressed lady said to the tall, disheveled man who was locked with chains through his shoulders, hung on a cross before her. The disheveled man didn't speak, his head slightly lowered. Were it not for his breathing, one might think he was already dead. Li Feiyu, Azure Phoenix Immortal has already given up on the Immortal City's foundation and is fully seeking out a nascent soul opportunity. He will not return. Master White Peak has found a soul path secret treasure. Even if you don't volunteer the information, these matters will eventually be known by Master White Peak, so why do you persist, needlessly throwing away your future and life? The red-dressed lady looked at the man before her, speaking with an expression of frustration, as if scolding an obstinate child. Since Master White Peak has a soul path secret treasure, he can just use it to perform a soul search. Li Feiyu spoke in a weak and hoarse voice, his robe tattered and full of wounds with blood-stained scars. Once such a soul path secret treasure is used to search the soul, even if you don't die, you will end up a demented fool. Why go through with this? Azure Phoenix Immortal has been kind to you, and even the opportunities you found in the ruins were exchanged for it. Even Master Zhao and Master Su are willing to submit to Master White Peak. Being just a Foundation establishment cultivator, why remain so obstinately misguided? The red-dressed lady continued to speak, her tone mixed with reproach. Taoist Jiang, do you really think that by telling these things I will have a way out? That Master White Peak would spare my life? Li Feiyu raised his head slightly, and beneath his messy hair, his weary and aged face, devoid of any color, showed a hint of sarcasm. Upon hearing this, the red-dressed lady silently pondered for a long time before saying, Master White Peak is willing to swear a Dao Heart oath. Li Feiyu just sneered and said no more. Seeing this, the red-dressed lady did not say anything further. She walked out of the prison, bowed to an old man outside with white hair but a youthful face, a tall figure and vibrant spirit, saying, Immortal Master, this person still refuses to disclose the matters regarding the ruins in Myriad Beasts mountain range. Humph, seems this young man is certain his sea of consciousness has prohibitions, and this immortal master dare not search his soul recklessly. Master White Peak's dark and profound eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness upon hearing this. Enough, this immortal master understands. He gestured lightly to the red-dressed lady and then entered the prison cell. Sarthan of Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1156, by Lake Mountain Lu Family Mansion. Daddy. Lu Lingyi with her twin buns, looked cute and adorable, gazing expectantly at her father. Don't rush. Lu Changxing said with a smile, conjuring the cave mystique treasure mirror. He then grasped his daughter's tender little hand, forcing a drop of essence blood onto the mirror. The mirror swiftly absorbed the essence blood, and then its glowing surface shimmered with speckles of rosy light, blooming like a pure and flawless five-colored lotus. Xiaohe, do you remember the words Daddy told you just now? Lu Changxing asked his daughter gently. I remember all of it. Lu Lingyi nodded firmly. Good. Mana surged within Lu Changxing, the cave mystique treasure mirror dazzled brightly, its reflection enveloping Lu Lingyi. In an instant, Lu Lingyi felt dizzy, and she found herself in a pitch-black space. Daddy, it's so dark. Lu Lingyi cried out. Although she wasn't afraid of the dark, suddenly being in such a lightless, silent and dark place still made her a bit scared. Shoo. The next moment she saw a figure of light appear in the darkness. Upon closer inspection, this figure of light actually looked exactly like her, cute and adorable with twin buns. Black Dragon Codex. Use Qi as the guide, observe the transformations of the true dragon, capable of enlarging and shrinking, ascending and drawing in. The figure of light began to cultivate the Black Dragon Codex, speaking to Lu Lingyi. Watching the figure of light, Lu Lingyi was momentarily stunned. But then, remembering her father's instructions, she concentrated her mental spirit to intently watch the figure cultivate. After the figure of light demonstrated once, it slowly overlapped with Lu Ling's form. In an instant, Lu Lingyi entered a mysterious state. It was as if someone was painstakingly teaching her the Black Dragon Codex, and she felt a strange familiarity with this cultivation technique. A serious expression emerged on her pretty little face, as she cycled the technique following this mysterious sensation. Throughout the process, any slight mistake in the execution caused the figure to stop, point out the error, and then start again from the beginning. In this way, in the pitch-black space, the human form and the figure of light overlapped, tirelessly practicing the Black Dragon Codex. The technique was abstruse and profound, with many details in the cultivation process that Lu Lingyi didn't understand, causing her to make constant mistakes. But she wasn't disheartened, her little face full of seriousness. After each correction by the figure of light, she kept it in mind, ensuring not to repeat the same mistake. In the dark space where time seemed to stand still, Lu Lingyi continuously cycled the technique, guided by the figure of light. After an unknown amount of time, Lu Lingyi finally executed the Black Dragon Codex perfectly, without any errors, synchronizing with the figure of light. Sigh. Lu Changxing, holding the cave mystique treasure mirror, watched his daughter, who was seated cross-legged, and exhaled a tired breath. Even with his core formation cultivation, sustaining such a top-grade magical treasure for a long time was not without its costs. Moreover, this treasure did not only consume mana but also heavily drained the mental spirit. However, seeing his daughter mastering the technique, he felt the effort was worthwhile. Daddy? Moments later, Lu Lingyi, groggy as if waking from a dream, instinctively embraced Lu Changxing before her. Daddy is here. Cradling his daughter, Lu Changxing gently asked, Xiaohe, do you still remember the process of your recent cultivation? Daddy, I remember. Lu Lingyi nodded in response and then demonstrated to Lu Changxing. Though lacking the enhanced state provided by the cave mystique treasure mirror, there wasn't much of a problem overall. Not bad, that's wonderful. Lu Changxing rubbed his daughter's little head and cheerfully said, Are you hungry? Daddy, I am hungry. Upon hearing this, Lu Lingyi immediately touched her flat belly and nodded her little head. Let's go, Daddy will take you for something delicious. With a slight lift of his hand, Lu Changxing put away the cave mystique treasure mirror and spoke with a warm smile. Although his daughter didn't seem too bright, he still dearly loved and favored his obedient and innocent child. After temporarily resolving matters with his daughter Lu Lingyi, Lu Changxing rested for half a month before preparing to head to the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Apart from mining spirit veins, he needed also to hunt a third-rank demon king, so Lu Changxing did not plan to bring Xianxia with him. After all, the Myriad Beasts mountain range was perilous. Once targeted by several demon kings, Lu Changxing was confident he could escape alone. But bringing Xianxia would significantly increase the risks. Zixiao, Sister Miaoga, I'm counting on you to look after things at home. I will return from the Myriad Beasts mountain range in as short as half a year or as long as 1 year. If anything arises, just crush this jade talisman, and I will rush back immediately. Lu Changxing spoke to his wives, indicating all matters concerning their children's foundation establishment and dealing with caravans should wait for his return. Changxing, please be very careful. Lord, do not worry, we will handle things at home. The two ladies said. However, knowing that Lu Changxing was heading to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, they couldn't help but worry. After all, the perils of the Myriad Beasts mountain range were renowned throughout Jianghu country, and even in multiple cultivation worlds. Rest assured, I am aware. Lu Changxing held his wife's hand, smiling. After bidding farewell to his wife, Lu Changxing discreetly left by Lake Mountain, steering the Starlight Plate towards the direction of the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Now that he had achieved core formation, he could fully utilize the Starlight Plate's capabilities. Whoosh! Like a comet slicing through the sky, he entered the Nine Heavens Gang Wind. Sar the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1157. No wonder nascent soul immortals are unbound and roam the world freely. If I travel at full speed now, I estimate that it will take half a month to reach the Myriad Beasts mountain range. When the time comes, it will be much more convenient to visit Qingshan and Qingzhou in Yu country, without the need to continuously transfer between spiritual vessels like before. Lu Changxing, clad in a dark robe, his face valiant and majestic, stood tall and slender upon the Starlight Plate, exuding an aura as deep as the ocean and as stable as a mountain. Wind Thunderhound, am coming? Lu Changxing looked towards the direction of the Myriad Beasts mountain range, his eyes slightly narrowing, whispering to himself. Although he was planning to visit Azure Phoenix Immortal City, his plan was to head to the Myriad Beasts mountain range first to capture spirit veins and hunt the Demon King. After the busy work, he would go to Azure Phoenix Immortal City, where he could deal with the chaotic gains. At the Myriad Beasts mountain range, the first stop, the first prey, naturally was the very Wind Thunderhound that had previously chased him. Hunting this Wind Thunderhound was not just to reclaim what happened before. There were rumors that the Wind Thunderhound possessed a trace of the ancient True Hound's bloodline, potentially at the heaven rank. Besides needing the blood essence spirit light to awaken the Tai Chi soul body, Lu Changxing also needed the heavenly demon blood to cultivate the Brahma demon true saint technique. Although this true immortal level technique was extremely demanding, he would still choose dual cultivation if he could meet the conditions. After all, this technique was indeed powerful and overbearing in terms of fighting technique. Jin Kingdom 5 Poisons Cult. Jiang Country Tianyuan Secret Realm? Nangong Meili, a stunningly enchanting beauty, wrapped in a purple silk dress, her slender heels clicking. Yes, this Tianyuan Secret Realm is the legendary site of the cave mansion left by Tianyuan True Monarch. We received news that within this realm, not only there is an inheritance of Tianyuan True Monarch and the heavenly origin precious lotus, but also a wordless stone steel. If a destined person can obtain a supreme opportunity from the steel, hence I want you to go to Jiang Country and verify this matter. CTH Novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. From above in the hall, a child with a face like beautiful jade and skin as smooth as lard, about 7 or 8 years old, wearing a silver crown hairpin and a purple-red dress, barefooted, spoke. Sect Hierarch Meili is willing to go. Nangong Meili pondered for a moment and then cupped her hands in a salute. Good. Hearing this, the leader of the 5 Poisons cult waved, and a jade token appeared, landing in front of Nangong Meili. Someone deliberately leaked this information, so apart from our 5 Poisons cult, other forces will also go. Be extra careful. Yes, Sect Hierarch. Nangong Meili caught the token and responded. After leaving the 5 Saints Hall, Nangong Meili looked at the jade token in her hand, her slender beautiful eyes slightly narrowing, quietly muttering, Jiang Country, it's time to settle this grudge. She then conjured a jade shuttle, transforming into a divine rainbow and leaving the 5 Poisons cult. Immortal Spider Marketplace. In a magnificent palace. A 16 or 17-year-old exquisitely beautiful girl in a purple dress, with trembling eyelashes, opened her eyes, shining like stars and azure waves, dazzlingly beautiful. Her delicate, pale hand held a jade token, exuding a purple glow. Mom's here. Her face lit up with a pure and lovely smile as she stood and walked out of the palace. Stepping out, she saw a woman resembling her in features by 7 or 80%, but with an extremely beautiful, enchanting, and alluring appearance looking tenderly at her. Mom? Nangong Yaoyao joyfully called out and dove into the woman's curvaceous embrace, affectionately nestling her small head against her. You've grown so much, yet you still act like a child. Nangong Meili looked at her daughter in her arms, the long Danfeng eyes radiating maternal warmth, her mouth curving into a smile, softly spoke. Yaoyao will always be a little child in front of Mom. Nangong Yaoyao's starry eyes shimmered, her face innocent and utterly adorable. Where is your sister Xiaochan? Nangong Meili gently stroked her daughter's flowing, soft hair as she asked. At this moment, her entire demeanor lacked any trace of enchantment or seduction. Sister Xiaochan is cultivating. Mom, what brings you to the marketplace? Is there something? Nangong Yaoyao, linking arms with her mother, snuggled up to her shoulder, her voice joyful. There's a mission from the sect. Mom needs to make a long trip, so she came to see Yaoyao. Nangong Meili looked at her daughter, tracing bits of a familiar yet distant outline in her brows. She thought to herself, this trip to Jiang Country for the sake of her daughter and the past affair with Misty Sky Bead, as long as the other party cooperates and surrenders the immortal golden core opportunity. Mom just returned from Heartless Ridge, how is there another mission? Nangong Yaoyao, upon hearing this, instantly pouted her soft lips, feeling somewhat aggrieved. This task won't take long, I will return once I'm done. Nangong Meili's heart softened, a reluctant tone in her voice. While they talked, Meng Xiaochan hurried over. Hearing her master was going far, instructing her to take good care of Nangong Yaoyao, her heart suddenly thumped, her mind in turmoil, guessing her master's purpose. After all, the master had just returned from Heartless Ridge. Where else would there be a task now? This trip afar was very likely aimed at going to Jiang Country seeking Lu Lang. Although she had anticipated this day, she couldn't help but worry, her thoughts in disarray. Meng Xiaochan occasionally looked at Nangong Yaoyao, considering whether to disclose the matter about Lu Changsheng. Maybe the master, considering Yaoyao's sake, would let Lu Lang off. Sister Xiaochan, what's wrong? Nangong Yaoyao, noticing Meng Xiaocan's frequent glances and beaming smile, asked. Xiaochan, your master knows your situation, just take good care of Yaoyao. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1158. Nangong merely seemed to guess what Xiao Chan was thinking and said lightly. This disciple has been deeply affected by the Lockhart Gu, and even the Phoenix Gu cannot solve it. So to solve it, not only does the emotional threads of the Lockhart Gu need to be actively released, but she also needs to come out of it on her own. Yes, master. Upon hearing this, Ming Xiaochan felt relieved and roughly understood the meaning of her master's words. She would take good care of Nangong Yao Yao, and in return, the other party would spare Lu Lang as a favor to Yao Yao, without going to extremes. Jianghu country. Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. Where did this Wind Thunderhound come from? After arriving at the Myriad Beasts Mountain Range, Lu Changxing suddenly realized a problem. It was previously his commotion that led the Wind Thunderhound to actively pursue him to kill. So, he wasn't sure exactly where this Wind Thunderhound's lair was. This is a bit embarrassing. Lu Changxing, looking upon the towering, undulating mountain ranges of the vast Myriad Beasts Mountain Range, suddenly felt as if he was drawing his sword but lost in direction. Forget it, he'll start by digging up the spirit vein. Lu Changxing decided to extract the spirit vein first before beginning to hunt the Demon King. After all, once he takes action, it would be difficult to focus on mining the spirit vein quietly afterward. Moreover, during this process the Wind Thunderhound might make an appearance. Immediately, Lu Changxing entered the mountain range with familiarity. He then released the Thousand Faces Puppet Fox and the Seeking Spirit Mouse to start searching for the spirit vein. Having now achieved core formation, Lu Changxing was much bolder than before, venturing deep into the belly of the Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. It must be said, this Myriad Beasts Mountain Range was simply full of treasures. Upon reaching the deep interior, Lu Changxing encountered a top-tier second-rank great demon, and after killing it, not only did he obtain a special monster core, but he also found several rare spiritual medicines in its cave. Following that, Lu Changxing set up a simple small reversed 5 elements array, had the Thousand Faces Puppet Fox keep watch, and began extracting the spiritual vein origin. Roar! That day, just as Lu Changxing killed a top-tier second-rank great demon and was preparing to dig the spirit vein, he suddenly heard a roar like thunder rolling forcefully. This is the sound of the Wind Thunderhound. Lu Changxing paused, immediately recognizing it as the sound of the Wind Thunderhound. However, judging from the sound and furor, it was far from his location and not directed at him. Could it be that other cultivators or demon beasts are confronting the Wind Thunderhound? Lu Changxing frowned slightly, stepped out of the cave and gazed towards the distant sky dome. He saw in the far sky, 2 overwhelming and terrifying energies surging, causing the heavens and earth to echo with thunders like muffled roars. It's indeed the Wind Thunderhound, and that's a human clan cultivator. Lu Changxing's eyes shifted with yin-yang qi, spotting a fierce beast perched in the sky dome, with a massive body several meters long, a head resembling both a lion and a tiger, terrifyingly ferocious, with a pair of purple-green wings edged in gold on its back. It was charged with demonic power, wings unfurling amidst roiling winds and thunder, stirring up a sky-covering tempest of thunder, exerting a devastating pressure of destruction. And fighting the Wind Thunderhound was a human figure. Whether it was a man or a woman, Lu Changxing couldn't tell due to the distance. But it was clear the person was also a nascent soul immortal. Otherwise they couldn't possibly contend with the Wind Thunderhound. At once, aura light flowed around Lu Changxing, and his fate-defying robe shimmered with an invisible luster, concealing his entire existence as if camouflaged within the void, as he flew toward the direction of the Wind Thunderhound. Since his target appeared, he naturally would not let it go. Moreover, this was also an opportunity to gauge the combat abilities of the Wind Thunderhound and this person, roughly estimating the actual strength of a third-rank demon king and a nascent soul immortal. Xianxia the Novelier. N.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1159. Lu Changxing's figure seemed to merge with the void, arriving just outside the battle area of the Wind Thunderhound. From this distance, he could clearly sense the aura of one person and one beast in the air. This Wind Thunderhound should be a third-rank early-stage demon king. As for the person confronting the Wind Thunderhound, he was a burly, stout man. His face was fierce, his eyes like a tiger's, clad in a tiger-skin cloak that gave him a wild and domineering air, with a cultivation level probably at the initial stage of core formation. Human clan cultivators, you have disturbed my rest time and again. Do you really think I am so easily provoked? The Wind Thunder Hound looked at the burly man in front of him, speaking human language with a voice deep and resounding, like rolling thunder. As soon as demon beasts break through to the third rank, they can refine the throat bone to speak human language. Even some demon beasts can transform into human form at the third rank. However, generally, the higher the bloodline grade of the demon beast, the more difficult it is to transform. Therefore, Lu Changxing was not surprised that the Wind Thunder Hound could talk. I have come here this time wishing to borrow your thunderstorm crystal. The burly man spoke, his voice rough and powerful, full of a wild nature. Thunderstorm crystal? You disturb my rest time and again hunt down my descendants and still want to borrow the thunderstorm crystal? Leave the Myriad Beasts mountain range immediately. The voice of the Wind Thunder Hound boomed like thunder, unleashing gusts of wind, making numerous demon beasts and cultivators in the mountain range shiver in fear. King Hound, I've come with sincerity. Here is a vial of thunder juice. The burly man, though his voice was rough and domineering, his words were not forceful, holding a purple jade vial in his hand. Thunder juice? Not interested, leave the Myriad Beasts mountain range now. The Wind Thunder Hound, with pupils flashing purple lightning, gazed at the burly man and growled. In that case, I will have to take it by force. Seeing how inflexible the Wind Thunder Hound was, the burly man too became somewhat angered. He was a respected nascent soul immortal, who sincerely came to trade, yet the other side was being so arrogant and disrespectful. Ha ha, you cultivators of the human race are so shameless. If you want to fight, why bother with nonsense? The Wind Thunder Hound laughed loudly, then opened his vast mouth with sharp fangs, letting out a fierce, brisk, intense wave of roaring sound. These sound waves were like thunderclaps rolling, hurricanes sweeping, forming concentric circles, tearing apart the void, aiming straight for the burly man. Heaven and earth spin. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, three forces of mana constantly clashed, light overwhelming the sky dome, blasting the spaces, devastating living beings, leaving the area below the Myriad Beasts mountain range in ruins. Does this man not fear at all that other demon kings might come? Lu Changxing watched the sky, eyebrows slightly furrowed. His biggest concern about coming to the Myriad Beasts mountain range had been encountering a demon king and luring others. But now, this burly man has been battling the Wind Thunder Hound for so long, and yet no other demon kings have shown up. If that's the case, it will be much less difficult. Lu Changxing stroked his chin, thinking silently. Human, you still have time to retreat now, otherwise I will definitely make you pay a heavy price. Xianxia the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1160. Wind Thunder Hound, under the siege of the burly man, has grown impatient and roared chillingly. Just hand over the thunderstorm crystal and it'll leave. The burly man too was exhausted and spoke in a deep tone. Damn it, I thought you dared to trouble the Wind Thunder Hound because you had some trump card or technique. It turns out you just wanted to persistently entangle until the opponent has no choice but to hand over the item? Lu Changxing looked at the burly man in the sky somewhat speechlessly. However, he thought it was normal, at this level of strength, to truly fight to the death and determine the winner, a price must be paid. Even a minor injury or damage to magical treasures would require a lot of time, even years or decades, to recover. Therefore, under the situation of absolute necessity, no nascent soul immortal would fight with all their might. Since you refuse to recognize what's good for you, this king shall grant your wish. Wind Thunder Hound roared to the heavens, and instantly, its Bodis purple patterns moved like purple thunder dragons, its aura climbing dramatically, like a barbaric fierce beast awakening. Boom, boom, boom boom. The wild wind swept across, the sky filled with dark clouds, and with flashes of lightning and thunder, a thick purple lightning column, like a giant python, violently struck down. Roar, roar, roar. The Wind Thunder Hound continued to roar as if it made the stars in heaven and earth shake, creating tornadoes all around that, together with the lightning column, sealed the heavens and earth, sweeping towards the burly man and a third-rank white tiger. The wild and tyrannical aura was incredibly terrifying, completely drowning this piece of heaven and earth, as if it were the end of the world. At a distance, Lu Changxing, under this indiscriminately fierce aura, had to fully run his fate-defying robe, the yin-yang mysterious divine light flowing, to prevent any leakage of his presence. Tiger Divine Transformation. The burly man with a solemn expression made a gesture incantation. His whole bodice bones crackling loudly, he was wrapped by the phantom of a white tiger. Suddenly, the spiritual beast white tiger roared at him and merged into one with the white tiger phantom behind him in an instant. Boom boom boom. The burly man's aura of mana instantly climbed dramatically, erupting with the magical power and physical strength of a mid-nascent soul stage, his physique also growing, reaching the height of several meters and becoming covered in white fur, like a giant bear. Is this the unification technique? Lu Changxing, seeing this technique, was somewhat surprised. He had just noticed that this burly man was proficient in beast-taming techniques and was very compatible with the spiritual beast. He didn't expect the other party could merge with the spiritual beast. He had heard from Hong Lian that to achieve this step, not only must the cultivator and the spiritual beast be spiritually compatible, but the spiritual beast must also cultivate corresponding techniques. Could this person be a nascent soul immortal from the spirit-taming sect? Lu Changxing speculated in his heart. There are not many nascent soul cultivators in Jianghu country. Being close to the spirit-taming sect, and with this man's techniques related to beast-taming, Lu Changxing instantly speculated. Boom boom boom. In the sky dome, both sides unleashed their trump cards, going all out. The terrifying forces collided, and the shockwaves produced were like 9-day thunderclaps, making the heavens and earth flicker unpredictably. The terrifying onslaught instantly whipped up endless aftershocks, wildly ravaging everything, one layer stronger than the last, submerging everything in its path. Rumble rumble. After a long while, the energy fluctuations in the sky dome dissipated quite a bit, revealing the Wind Thunderhound's massive body with a crimson wound bleeding profusely. CTH Novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. And the burly giant man, resembling a giant bear, had multiple charred areas on his body. Human, you deserve to die. Wind Thunderhound's pupils, emitting a purple sheen, were filled with murderous intent, hideously growling. King of the Hound, I told you, I just want the thunderstorm crystal. The voice of the burly man, now like the roar of a white tiger, rolled thunderously, echoing between heaven and earth. But Lu Changxing could hear that the man's voice was much weaker and knew that it was very difficult for this person to kill the Wind Thunderhound with such methods. If this is the extent of your strength, then this peach I shall pluck. Lu Changxing watched this scene, his expression calm and indifferent. 9 treasures: Rui Bone, Essence, Energy, Spirit, Boom. Breastbone runes interwove, erupting a brilliant divine light, making his physical body, mana and divine sense roar like a tsunami. In an instant, Lu Changxing's figure seemed to stretch slightly, his cultivation advancing from the first layer to the second layer of golden core. But it did not stop there. 3rd layer of golden core. 4th layer of golden core. 5th layer of golden core. Who? Above in the sky dome, the bear-like burly man immediately looked in Lu Changxing's direction and shouted out. It was astonishing that he hadn't noticed someone hiding in the shadows during the battle. Lu Changxing remained silent, his Qi Ocean Core and Yin Yang Great Path Golden Core trembled, running at full power, rising a bright glow that made the Golden Core's mana roar like a true dragon. Yin Yang Qi Grasp. Chapter 1161. But at this moment this man managed to suppress the Wind Thunderhound with just a single move. What kind of power, what kind of divine skills? Spirit Taming Sect's Venerable Wuxia has seen the senior. He immediately adopted a respectful demeanor, cupping one fist in the other hand towards Lu Changxing and reported his affiliation. There are only so many nascent soul immortals in Jianghu country cultivation realm, and he had never seen Lu Changxing before. The appearance of an unknown nascent soul immortal in front of him, especially one who suppressed the Wind Thunderhound with a divine skill, truly made him anxious, unsure if Lu Changxing would take action against him. Therefore, by announcing his sect, he signified that if anything happened to him, the Spirit Taming Sect would be immediately informed and come to his aid. Spirit Taming Sect, roaring true person. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing thought to himself that the other indeed was a nascent soul immortal from the Spirit Taming Sect. He, clad in a mystic robe with an expression calm and indifferent, said lightly, "This Wind Thunderhound I shall keep it." The words were plain and simple, yet filled with an undeniable authority and dominance. For this Wind Thunderhound to catch the eye of the senior, it is its good fortune. Venerable Huxia's demeanor was extremely humble. Bind? Lu Changxing slightly nodded, lifted his palm gently, and performed a gesture incantation. Instantly, yin-yang energy swirled across the sky, and a clearly defined gigantic hand like mist enveloped and submerged the wind thunder hound, causing it to continuously wail and roar, weakening in spirit. A moment later, the giant hand began to shrink, gradually turning into a fist-sized ball flowing with yin-yang energies, spinning in the air before flying into Lu Changxing's hand. This yin-yang qi grasp, as a capturing divine skill, naturally had the power to bind and restrain. However, such restraint greatly consumed mana, and it required the divine skill to be cultivated to a highly profound degree before it could be executed. Had the Wind Thunder Hound not been injured just now, even if Lu Changxing had boosted his cultivation and mana to the middle stage of nascent soul through the 9 treasures Rui Bone, he wouldn't have been able to easily capture it. Golden Core true person. This man must be a great cultivator of the Golden Core. Venerable Wuxia, beholding such a technique, was left with a dry throat and a trembling mental spirit. Xianxia the Oval Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. He secretly thought that if Lu Changxing took a trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, who knows how many demon kings would be doomed. Who exactly is this man, and how could such a golden core true person appear in Jianghu country cultivation realm? Lu Changxing, observing the yin-yang small ball in his hand that trembled and vibrated constantly, surged mana through it, and with a fierce grip, he quelled the wind thunder hound within. Then, turning towards the venerable Wuxia in front of him, he asked, "Since you are a cultivator from the spirit-taming sect, do you have a map of the Myriad Beasts mountain range and information on the demon kings?" He had not known the exact location of the wind thunder hound earlier, and thus was unaware of the situations of other demon kings. Since the spirit-taming sect bordered the Myriad Beasts mountain range and guarded it all year round, they were presumably very familiar with the situation here. "Naturally I have it. Please wait a moment, senior." Venerable Wuxia immediately said and took out 2 jade slips from his storage ring, handing them over to Lu Changxing. Lu Changxing received the jade slips and probed them with his divine sense. He saw that inside was a map of Myriad Beasts mountain ranges terrain, clearly marked with the mountain ranges trends and information on the demon kings. Although it did not encompass all the details of the Myriad Beasts mountain range, it recorded the situations of demon kings within 10,000 miles. The other jade slip contained detailed information on many demon kings in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. With this map, hunting demon kings will be much simpler. A hint of a smile appeared in Lu Changxing's eyes, then he said to Venerable Wuxia, "I heard that you were looking for thunderstorm crystals from this wind thunder hound. Since that is the case, you shall accompany me to its nest, and if we find any thunderstorm crystals, they will serve as your reward." Lu Changxing spoke. He might not be an utterly benevolent man, but he wasn't a villain either. Since this venerable Wuxia was so tactful, it wasn't necessary to resort to killing. Moreover, being from the spirit-taming sect, should he kill him or should there be any complications, attracting the attention of the spirit-taming sect would be very troublesome. Better to create a good karma and simply send the other party away with a minor rebuke. "Many thanks, senior." Venerable Wuxia was overjoyed upon hearing this and immediately paid his respects with a bow. He then led Lu Changxing to the cave of the Wind Thunder Hound. There were also several second-order great demons in the cave. But sensing the demon beast aura oozing from Venerable Huxia's body, they immediately became trembling with fear. The suppression of bloodline rank among demon beasts was extremely severe. Even though Venerable Huxia's third-order spirit beast bloodline rank was not high, at most an earth-grade bloodline, it was enough to leave these second-order great demons with no will to resist. This is a third-order spirit vein. Upon entering the cave, Lu Changxing immediately sensed a small third-order spirit vein beneath the mountain where the Wind Thunder Hound resided, causing a thrill to surge in his heart. The cave of Wind Thunder Hound was immensely spacious, with many spirit ores and crystal stones embedded in the walls and many rare spiritual medicines grown as well. Once demon beasts reach second order, they possess a certain spiritual intelligence. The intelligence of a third-rank demon king is no less than that of humans, knowing to collect heavenly and earthly treasures. Thus, the harvest from hunting a third-rank demon king is incredibly lucrative. As the two of them ventured deeper, they suddenly felt a wild and overwhelming aura. This is Thunder Tribulation Lake. Lu Changxing instantly saw a body of water deep within the cave. The lake was about half an acre in size, shrouded with layers of lightning with the occasional bubbles emerging. When these burst, they released a wisp of a violent dark purple aura. This Thunder Tribulation Lake has reached third order. If one were to spend time and effort, it is estimated that every 100 years or so, one could refine a core formation spiritual object, Gang Chi of Thunder Tribulation. It's a pity that my dragon-seeking technique is only second rank. If I want to extract the Thunder Tribulation spirit vein from beneath the lake, it would surely consume greatly, at most producing a second-order Thunder Tribulation Lake. Lu Changxing thought to himself. Venerable Wuxia was tempted by the Thunder Tribulation Lake, but didn't harbor much ambition for it. After all, such spirit veins, unless one has great magical power and miraculous Dharma treasure, can hardly be moved. He looked toward a place not far away, where 3 melon-sized pale golden crystal stones enshrouded in wind and thunder were placed. He bowed to Lu Changxing and said, "Senior, these are thunderstorm crystals, I only need one." Venerable Wuxia wanted to take all 3 thunderstorm crystals, as with them, his spirit beast not only had the hope of breaking bloodline limits but also to advance further. However, Lu Changxing's abilities truly terrified him, so he dared not be too greedy and anger him. Agreed. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. After Venerable Wuxia stored 1 thunderstorm crystal in his storage ring, he voiced his thanks. "I appreciate it, Senior." Venerable Wuxia takes his leave. Lu Changxing nodded, signaling for the other to leave. Venerable Wuxia immediately turned into a rainbow light and left the peak of the Wind Thunder Hound. He then disengaged from his spirit beast fusion, his body resembling a brutish bear as it shrank and his aura weakened. He rode the white tiger back to the spirit-taming sect. Even with Lu Changxing's friendly demeanor, the sudden appearance of an unknown golden core true person within the Jianghu country cultivation realm meant they must make strategic preparations. Especially since Lu Changxing suppressed the Wind Thunder Hound and asked him for maps of Myriad Beasts mountain range and information on Demon Kings, this made him seriously doubt that the other party planned to slay Demon Kings here. 1 or 2 might still be fine, but if done excessively, it would certainly provoke the enmity of Demon Kings and might even unleash a beast tide. Therefore, in the face of such a situation, the spirit-taming sect had to be prepared and guarded against it. Once Lu Changxing confirmed that Venerable Wuxia had left, the effects of the 9 treasures Rui Bone receded like the tide. His cultivation fell step by step from the 5th layer of golden core to the foundation establishment 1st layer, leaving him feeling weak and empty. This feeling is really unpleasant. Lu Changxing let out a long sigh, feeling sore and uncomfortable all over, realizing he would need at least half a month of rest to employ such a technique again. Nonetheless, through this battle and simple display of power, he also got a rough estimate of his own strength. Facing an early-stage 3rd-ranked Demon King, he could basically decide the outcome swiftly. With it, he should be able to suppress a 3rd-order middle-stage Demon King with full strength. As for late-stage Great Demon Kings, it's better to avoid them if possible. Time to get to work. Lu Changxing looked at the cave in front of him with a smile, released the 1,000 Faces puppet fox, and started to work by arranging the small 5 elements reversal formation around the cave. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1162. Venerable Wuxia returned to the spirit-taming sect, riding the spiritual beast White Tiger. After a brief reorganization, he went to the palace atop Mount Yuling. Sect leader brother, sister Huoyu, are you both here? Upon entering the palace, Venerable Wuxia saw the sect leader of Yuling sect discussing matters with a nascent soul Immortal and expressed his surprise. Venerable Wuxia, weren't you heading to the Myriad Beasts mountain range? Was everything smooth? The sect leader of Yuling sect noticed that Venerable Wuxia's magic aura was a bit rushed and chaotic, having expended a great deal of mana, and had just experienced a major battle. He voiced his concern. Sect leader brother, I was engaged in battle with the Wind Thunder Hound when I encountered a core formation Grand Cultivator. Venerable Wuxia immediately spoke up, recounting the incident with Lu Changxing. What, a core formation Grand Cultivator? Another unknown nascent soul true person has appeared? The sect leader of Yuling sect and sister Huoyu looked at each other in astonishment upon hearing this. Another? Venerable Wuxia was taken aback by this remark, sensing that something was amiss. Sister Huoyu came back with news from the Heavenly Sword sect that several nascent soul true persons have infiltrated our Jianghu country, most likely for the Tianyuan secret realm. They advised us to be extra vigilant. The sect leader of Yuling sect spoke gravely, then with a serious expression inquired, "Venerable Hu Xiao, you said this person suppressed the Wind Thunder Hound with a single divine skill. Can you discern which power or lineage this person comes from?" "I'm not sure. This person's divine abilities seem to contain the flow of yin-yang qi, somewhat reminiscent of the methods of the yin-yang sect, but their mana was overwhelming and dignified, not like the yin-yang sect." Venerable Hu Xiao shook his head. "Moreover, this person's magical power was extraordinarily profound, as if imbued with an undying essence, likely a golden core true person. Otherwise, the Wind Thunder Hound, even weakened, would not have been easily suppressed and detained by him. But I have never heard of such a core formation grand cultivator from any faction." Venerable Hu Xiao spoke with a grave expression, continuing on. "If Lu Changxing only managed to kill the Wind Thunder Hound by catching it off guard, Venerable Hu Xiao wouldn't have been so shocked. But the divine skill that captured and detained the Wind Thunder Hound truly startled him. Golden Core Grand Cultivator." The complexions of the sect leader of Yuling sect and Sister Huyu both turned grave upon hearing this. A superior gold core represents the cream of the crop among those of the same tier. Not only was this person a core formation grand cultivator, but also potentially a golden core true person, which was truly terrifying. Such an existence in the Myriad Beasts mountain range, within the domain of their spirit-taming sect, was indeed cause for concern, especially at this sensitive time. It seems the Tianyuan secret realm has been deliberately publicized. Otherwise there wouldn't be such golden core grand cultivators coming to our Jiang country. Sister Huyu spoke in a heavy tone. "Venerable Hu Xiao, that person didn't attack you?" The sect leader of Yuling sect looked at Venerable Hu Xiao and asked. It seems he had no malicious intent, but he demanded a map of the Myriad Beasts mountain range and information on the Demon Kings from me, so I had to be cautious. Venerable Hu Xiao spoke. During those years of the Beast Tide, their spirit-taming sect was severely weakened. Although they have recovered much over the years thanks to the abundant gains from the Beast Tide, they couldn't withstand further turmoil. A map of the Myriad Beasts mountain range? Since that person had no great hostility, we should refrain from acting rashly for now. Regarding this matter, I'll immediately send a message to the Heavenly Sword sect to see what their intentions are, the sect leader of Yuling sect said after pondering for a while. While the Jiang country cultivation realm has the 4 great immortal sects, it's essentially the Heavenly Sword sect that leads. Now that the situation is getting more serious, with the appearance of core formation cultivators, they naturally want to see how the Heavenly Sword sect plans to respond. Whether it will be to take the initiative to strike, set a trap, or lure the enemy deeper. The Myriad Beasts mountain range. Inside a cave. No wonder most nascent soul true persons, even if they are third-level array masters, alchemists, artifact refiners or talisman masters, rarely earn money through these skills. Xianxia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With such strength, they simply do not value the hard-earned money from skills. At most, they refine pills or create artifacts out of personal relationships for friends and juniors, or use their skills to cultivate their minds and gain insights through analogy. Lu Changxing cleaned the cave of the Wind Thunder Hound. He not only obtained the third-order spirit vein, the thunderstorm vein, but also a heap of heavenly and earthly treasures. Apart from the origin source of the spirit vein, the thunderstorm vein, just the thunderstorm crystals and these treasures were worth hundreds of thousands of spirit stones. Not to mention the most precious Wind Thunder Hound itself. As a third-rank demon king, it was a true treasure trove. This was the very reason why Lu Changxing was willing to expend great magical power to subdue and detain it with the yin-yang qi grasp before killing it. To keep its body as intact as possible. Otherwise, if the body is damaged, its value would greatly diminish. Although this Wind Thunder Hound is a third-rank demon king, capable of forming blood essence spirit light, its divine abilities are not suitable for me. Lu Changxing examined the jade slip from the roaring true person and began to consider which demon king to hunt next. This Wind Thunder Hound was quite good, but its innate divine ability was an offensive divine ability. With his own offensive divine abilities, talismans, third-order body refining, Thunder Gang Dragon Flame, and 9-colored Tribulation Light, he was not lacking in offensive techniques. The same held true for defense. With body refinement, protective divine light, yin-yang mysterious divine light, and the 4th-grade life substitute talisman. So in his view, the divine ability awakened by the Tai soul body must be carefully chosen to be of help to him. The Void Mouse King 3rd-rank early stage has the innate ability of concealment and stealth. Unless faced with a nascent soul true lord, once it goes into hiding, it is difficult to detect its presence or trace. Acquiring this ability would be good, but that Mouse King is probably not easy to find. The Blazing Gold Toad, 3rd Order Middle Stage, has the innate ability to devour the heavenly spiritual fire, which can form an unparalleled divine flame. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1163. Not bad. If I can obtain this divine skill, maybe my Thunder Gang Dragon Flame could advance further. It's just that this Blazing Gold Toad still shares its dwelling with another Gold Toad, Golden-Eyed Fire Ape, 3rd Stage Mid-Level Demon King. Its innate ability is a pair of fire golden eyes, unparalleled in attack, capable of piercing through illusions and discerning the weaknesses of others. This divine skill is also not bad. Right now I just happen to be lacking this kind of measure. Lu Changxing continuously reviewed the profiles of demon kings within the Jade Slip. It must be said, the demon kings of the Myriad Beasts mountain range are no simple creatures, essentially Earth-grade bloodline demon beasts with various innate divine skills, which are extremely enticing to him. Unfortunately, the Tai Soul body can only use one blood essence spirit light to awaken, so he can only choose one of these demon kings. Besides himself, Lu Changxing was also seeking out a suitable demon king and divine skill for his son, Lu Qingxian. Sun Moon Resplendent Butterfly, 3rd Stage Mid-Level Demon King with a mutated bloodline, possesses 2 types of innate divine skills, with combat power comparable to that of a late-stage core formation Great Cultivator. At that moment, Lu Changxing's heart stirred upon seeing the information about a certain demon king. This demon king had 1 offensive and 1 defensive divine skill each. And according to the information recorded on the Jade Slip, both divine skills of the Sun Moon Resplendent Butterfly were top tier. Even late-stage core formation Great Cultivators find it difficult to subdue this Sun Moon Resplendent Butterfly. Can I comprehend its 2 divine skills through the Blood Essence Spirit Light? Furthermore, since this Sun Moon Resplendent Butterfly has dual divine skills, the probability of mastering its divine skills should also be much larger. Lu Changxing pondered inwardly. Although it's highly probable to acquire the Demon Beast's divine skill through the awakening of the Tai Soul body with Blood Essence Spirit Light, it's not a certainty. CTH Novel F. IR. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. There's still a small chance of not mastering it. Lu Changxing was tempted by this Sun Moon Resplendent Butterfly, mainly thinking of awakening the Tai Soul body for his son, Lu Qingxian. After all, in his current state, such dual divine skills were not very useful to him. But for his son, if he could master 1 offensive and 1 defensive divine skill during the Foundation establishment stage, he would be an invincible existence. With my current abilities, it might be a bit difficult to subdue this Sun Moon Resplendent Butterfly. I might as well leave it for now as a future option. Lu Changxing wasn't too anxious about his son's awakening with the Blood Essence Spirit Light. After all, the process of awakening the Tai Soul body is perilous, and it's best done after Foundation establishment. His son was still young, there was plenty of time. Since that's the case, let's first deal with this golden-eyed fire ape. After a long observation, Lu Changxing sat cross-legged, planning to make a move on the golden-eyed fire ape once his condition had recovered. Although the opponent possessed the strength of a 3rd order middle stage. As long as he could kill it, Lu Changxing still felt moderately confident. If unfeasible, he could always just run away. 1.5 months later. Myriad Beasts Mountain Range, Divine Ape Ridge. This was the territory of the 3rd-ranked Demon King, the Golden-Eyed Fire Ape. Be careful. Dressed in the fate-defying robe with an invisible luster flowing around, Lu Changxing released the Thousand Faces Puppet Fox to lure out the Golden-Eyed Fire Ape. Then he would take the chance to make his move. Yes, master. The Thousand Faces Puppet Fox nodded in response. Then with a swoosh, it shot into the sky, a spiritual pressure of a 3rd-ranked Demon King radiating from its body, attacking randomly in all directions. Roar. Before long, a roar echoed. A huge immense ape, tens of feet tall, covered in pure gold hair and well-fanged with a potent aura, appeared. Its body covered in pure gold fur swayed in the wind, looking incredibly fierce. It had a pair of gleaming golden eyes, like 2 suns, dazzling and splendid, shooting out beams of scorching light, intense and daunting. Shoop! The Thousand Faces Puppet Fox dodged these 2 beams of attack, causing them to strike a distant mountain peak, exploding violently and igniting raging flames. "You are not from the demon race. Who are you and why do you provoke me, the king?" The golden-eyed fire ape's chi blood surged, its pure gold fur appearing to be engulfed in a layer of crimson flame, fierce and domineering as it roared. "You noticed that quickly?" Lu Changxing was surprised, not expecting the golden-eyed fire ape to instantly realize that the Thousand Faces puppet fox was not from the demon race. Initially, without the system's information, even he couldn't immediately tell that the Thousand Faces puppet fox was a puppet. But at this moment he did not hesitate, fully operating the Nine Treasures Rui Bone. After all, the Thousand Faces puppet fox was not adept at frontal combat. If it were to be injured by the golden-eyed fire ape, this trip would be a great loss for him. Boom boom boom. The Nine Treasures Rui Bone on his chest burst forth with resplendent divine light, elevating Lu Changxing's physical body, mana and divine sense like a volcanic eruption, his cultivation and magical power of first layer of golden core rising steadily. Golden core second layer. Golden core third layer. Golden core fourth layer. Golden core fifth layer. Chapter 1164, Roar. As a demon beast, the golden-eyed fire ape's instincts were extremely sharp. It instantly sensed a dangerous tremor from Lu Changxing and felt a chilling terror. Its pair of golden eyes suddenly filled with a fiery red light, burning the skies, attempting to break free from the yin-yang hand and dodge this strike. Sar the novel ire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But in addition to the yin-yang chi grasp, there were also 9 third-rank suppression talismans and the Thousand Faces puppet fox. The Thousand Faces puppet fox's charming pupils shone with an enchanting luster, continuously disturbing the golden-eyed fire ape's mental spirit. Its snow-white fox tail twisted and rose, several meters in size, emitting a powerful and surging great magical power pressing down on the golden-eyed fire ape. Her main methods are charm and illusion, but that does not mean she has no combat power. At this time, Lu Changxing's expression was indifferent, like a true immortal descending to earth, stepping towards the golden-eyed fire ape. The 9-colored tribulation light in front of his chest was intensely bright and dominant, annihilating all things in the universe, turning everything it passed into dust, and shining upon the golden-eyed fire ape. Boom boom boom. In an instant, the golden-eyed fire ape's fur, burning with red flames, began to be extinguished under the 9-colored tribulation light, turning to ash, its flesh beginning to crack with pale golden blood seeping out. The endless tribulation light surged, runes densely packed as if grand sounds of the great Tao echoed, engulfing the golden-eyed fire ape, causing it to continuously roar and bellow. This wailing sound made countless demon beasts in the myriad beasts mountain range tremble with fear, crawling and howling, wondering why this demon king was making such sounds. What's happening? It seems like the roar of the golden-eyed fire ape king, someone is fighting with it. Some cultivators hunting demon beasts in the mountain range couldn't help but look over. They only saw the mountain-sized golden-eyed fire ape enveloped by a brilliant 9-colored divine light, wailing and roaring. In an instant, everyone felt a tremor in their hearts, trembling uncontrollably. This aura was too terrifying and astonishing, making it seem as if the entire universe was trembling. Even from a great distance, they felt an inexplicable pulse of dread. Some nearby Foundation establishment cultivators dared not look directly at the divine light, feeling a burning pain in their eyes. This process did not last long. Merely half a moment later, the golden-eyed fire ape howled sadly, its aura withering, its massive body gradually shrinking. And if it wasn't for the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus acting as his second Dantian, his mana would have almost been drained. If I don't go all out, this is roughly my limit in combat power. Lu Changxing took a deep breath, holding 2 high-quality spirit stones and sat cross-legged. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Lu Changxing looked at the gem in front of him, his eyes sparkling with joy. He had already been clear on the method to awaken the Tai Chi soul body. Considering his environment, Lu Changxing slapped the Yin corpse bag, releasing the endless guileful head for an additional layer of protection. After completing the preparations, Lu Changsheng's brow shone as he implanted the blood essence spirit light into the sea of consciousness of his own forehead. Buzz. Blood essence spirit light entered the sea of consciousness at the center of his forehead, instantly boiling like hot water, diffusing endless crimson radiance, with a faint apparition of a golden-eyed fire ape. Lu Changsheng's soul, sharp as a sword, actively collided with the blood essence spirit light in front of him. Boom! In an instant, the blood essence spirit light exploded with blood radiance, crimson light flowing like a fire cloud in all directions, filling Lu Changsheng's sea of consciousness. Hiss hiss hiss. In the sea of consciousness, the peach blossom goo seemed provoked, awakening and gazing towards the apparition of the golden-eyed fire ape. Lu Changsheng immediately suppressed the peach blossom goo, not letting it interfere with the awakening of his Tai Chi soul body. Boom boom boom. The blood essence spirit light, like a red sun, shone brilliantly in Lu Changsheng's sea of consciousness, causing his soul to feel a scorching, piercing pain. Having experienced the awakening of the blood talisman spiritual body before, Lu Changsheng knew such pain was inevitable. He circulated the Sun-Moon Samsara technique to withstand this intense pain. Buzz. After an indeterminate time, Lu Changsheng's soul gradually formed into a tiny human shape, surrounded by winding golden runes that appeared and flowed with radiant, mystical light. At this moment, the blood essence spirit light found a pour-out point and actively surged towards the tiny soul figure. Lu Changsheng's soul faced scorching pain, actively absorbing the power within the blood essence spirit light. Gradually, his soul was enveloped in blood radiance, forming a splendidly crystalline blood-red cocoon. As the blood radiance of the blood essence spirit light continued to flow, the blood cocoon grew larger, nurturing and stimulating Lu Changsheng's soul, making him feel comfortable yet pained. Xianxia the Novelier. N.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Aside from his soul, during this process Lu Changsheng's flesh, meridians and dantian were all illuminated in red under the influence of the blood essence spirit light, permeated with a mysterious aura. Though the Tai Chi soul body is a soul path spiritual body, this awakening process also sanctifies and enhances the physical body. Boom boom boom. Although enveloped by the blood essence spirit light, Lu Changsheng could still see his surroundings and his bodhi's condition. The entire person sat motionless, his countenance dignified and solemn, his body completely suffused in red, his blood roaring like rivers and seas, thunderously resounding. All over his body, his meridians, bones and internal organs vibrated in unison, like a divine weapon being forged, clanging sonorously, full of divine anomalies. Under this sanctification, Lu Changsheng felt that his 100 refinements treasure body art was about to break through. But now, as the Tai Chi soul body was awakening, he suppressed this thrill and focused on fully awakening the Tai Chi soul body. Time passed bit by bit. In Lu Changsheng's sea of consciousness, the blood essence spirit light gradually dispersed, leaving only a large blood-red cocoon. This blood cocoon floated up and down in the sea of consciousness, wrapped in red mists, hazy and elusive, its surface seeming to ripple with mysterious patterns, filled with the essence of Tao. Crack. After an unknown duration, a crisp sound came from the blood cocoon. A thin layer of blood shell cracked and transformed into a waft of pure soul power that dissipated and nourished the sea of consciousness. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1166. A moment later, another crackling sound was heard, accompanied by a layer of blood crust shattering. Xianxia the Novelier. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Crack, crack, crack. As time passed, the shattering became more frequent. Suddenly, the blood cocoon wrapped in a red glow, covered with cracks, numerous splendid and brilliant golden lights burst forth from the surface. Boom. The blood cocoon completely broke open, and within it appeared a tiny soul figure identical to Lu Changsheng. The small figure was flawless and untainted, with a golden luster flowing as if it was a divine being. The shattered blood cocoon transformed into streams of extremely pure soul power, nourishing Lu Changsheng's sea of consciousness, making the golden small figure appear even more divine and solid. 4,000 zhang. 5,000 zhang. 6,000 zhang. 7,000 zhang. 8,000 zhang. 9,000 zhang. As Lu Changsheng's soul kept solidifying, his divine sense skyrocketed wildly. from the original 3,600 zhang, directly increasing to 9,000 zhang. Typically, for those in the late stage of core formation, divine sense is 7,000 zhang. 9,000 zhang, this has already reached the level of the peak of core formation. Is this the Tai soul body? Lu Changsheng's heart surged with joy as he quietly sensed the condition of his own soul. Apart from the divine sense, his soul was several times more condensing and pure compared to before. This meant that he had a considerable resistance against techniques such as illusion, charm, intimidation, and other soul attack methods. Unless a nascent soul true lord attacked, ordinary nascent soul cultivator's soul attacks would hardly be effective against him. And when he used his own soul-based techniques and divine consciousness secret techniques, the power and effect would also be greatly enhanced. Now when I deploy a talisman formation, I could probably achieve myriad talismans ascent. Lu Changxing felt that the state of his soul and his mental state were unprecedentedly good. Even with his eyes closed, he could perceive the world with exceptional clarity. With a single thought, he was able to clearly capture the presence of the endless guileful head, thousand faces puppet fox, the small reversed five elements array, and even the subtle essence of the flowers and plants beyond the mountain range. Even the array formation spiritual light of the small reversed five elements array seemed not so difficult in front of his eyes. Given time and thought, he would be able to understand it and enter the threshold in no time. This is the advantage of a pure soul. Lu Changxing had always been aware of the benefits of divine sense for cultivators. But for the soul side he never had a distinct perception. At this moment, having awakened the Tai Chi soul body, he now understood that a pure soul not only strengthens the soul but also makes perception terrifyingly sharp. During daily combat and cultivation practice, through the soul, he could observe many situations difficult to capture or discern with the naked eye. Eyes. Just then Lu Changsheng's heart skipped a beat and his eyes opened abruptly. His bright, shining eyes opened like torches, with a golden luster, resplendent and radiant, projecting two golden beams. His eyes could directly see through the cave's stone walls to the outside, and even vaguely discern in that direction was a towering presence, filled with demon chi. Is this the golden-eyed fire ape's fire golden eye? Lu Changsheng's heart was filled with surprise. Then he turned to look at the thousand faces puppet fox guarding the cave entrance. With the golden luster flowing in his eyes, capable of piercing through falsehood, he saw that the other's form and appearance were disguised and the aura of demon power was not right, neither pure demonic power nor pure mana. Looking at the small reversed five elements array, he could vaguely make out the flow and the weaker points of the formation's chi. Such a remarkable innate divine ability. If others possessed this divine ability, they could also see through my disguise. Lu Changxing then realized that his current disguise would probably be impenetrable to ordinary true pill masters. But if their eyes and pupil skills reach an extremely high mastery, they could see his true form, so he still had to be cautious. However, Lu Changxing guessed that the effectiveness of his eyes was not simply due to the golden-eyed fire ape's innate divine ability. It's also because of his long-term dual cultivation with Lu Miaoyun. Their eyes, equivalent to being constantly baptized by luminous sweet dew, have long been extraordinary, resulting in such astonishing effects. If I continue wiping my eyes with luminous sweet dew when I get back, can I enhance the effect of this divine skill even further? Lu Changxing pondered in his heart, very much looking forward to it. With this innate divine ability, surveying spirit veins and harvesting the spiritual vein origin will be much more convenient too. Lu Changsheng's eyes sparkling, he activated the fire golden eye while also circulating the origin spirit pupillary art. Suddenly he saw glimpses of spiritual mechanism, which allowed him to roughly understand the spirit mechanism of the land, thus finding spirit veins and spirit mines. This innate divine ability is indeed very fitting for me. A faint smile appeared on Lu Changsheng's face as he stood up, feeling that his physical body was also much tougher and stronger than before, ready to break through the 10th layer of the 100 Refinements treasure body art. But he was not planning to break through now. This trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, he planned to return within a year. But now, just hunting 2 demon kings has almost spent half a year. If he were to break through the 100 Refinements treasure body art and consolidate, the year would have passed by. Time to get to work. Lu Changxing was full of energy and vigor, feeling as if his strength was inexhaustible. He planned to take advantage of his current state to hunt a few third-rank early-stage demon kings and spirit veins, make a trip to Azure Phoenix Immortal City, then return early. As for his son Lu Qingxian's Tai Chi soul body, he was not in a rush before, planning to deal with the sun-moon resplendent butterfly, and now he's even less so. Because during the awakening process just now, he realized that awakening the Tai Chi soul body using the blood essence spirit light puts great pressure on the person awakening. If they can't withstand it, they won't be able to obtain the innate divine ability from the blood essence spirit light, and it might even be dangerous. Hong Lian said that the Tai soul body can be awakened after attaining divine sense. But after Lu Changsheng's recent experience, he knows clearly that this is just a threshold. It can be said that awakening the Tai Chi soul body with a third-rank thunder would, giving birth to divine sense is enough. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1167. But if one awakens through blood essence spirit light, to gain innate divine skills from it, one still needs a strong soul. Moreover, the stronger the soul, the more the improvement from awakening a Tai Chi soul body. Therefore, Lu Changxing planned to prepare more heavenly and earthly treasures for his son to nourish the soul, so he could spend more time cultivating his divine sense. Only by doing this, after foundation establishment and awakening the Tai Chi soul body, one could withstand the pressure of blood essence spirit light and most likely gain innate divine skills. This is what a family legacy is about. Even though Hong Lian is a nascent soul true lord, knowing about Tai Chi soul body and how to awaken it, she is still not very clear about many of the details. Lu Changxing sighed in his heart. If it were not for a father like himself to experiment with the spiritual body conditions for his children, how would the average family force know these key points? At this moment, Lu Changxing felt he was truly great. Without overthinking, his eyes gleaming with golden radiance, he looked at the underground spirit vein and began to excavate and collect the origin source of the spirit vein. A day later, Lu Changxing had completely hewn off the small spirit vein underneath the little cave, collected the endless guileful head and thousand faces puppet fox, his fate-defying robe flowing with formless radiance, as if camouflaged into the void, he stealthily approached Divine Ape Ridge, planning to extract the spirit vein of Divine Ape Ridge. As soon as Lu Changxing arrived at the outskirts of Divine Ape Ridge, through his divine sense, he detected a third-rank Demon King's presence inside. What's going on? How is there another Demon King? Lu Changxing was surprised, and immediately sent the Thousand Faces puppet fox out to probe the situation. Moments later, a roar sounded, accompanied by an earth-shaking rumble. A giant bear with a ferocious appearance, mountainous in size, appeared, bellowing at the Thousand Faces puppet fox. "This place is my territory, you're trespassing." Earth Demon Bear? It's taken the place after the golden-eyed fire ape was killed? Lu Changxing understood the situation upon seeing this scene. Demon beasts do not require spirit veins as urgently as cultivators, but they do prefer to reside where spirit veins are abundant. Moreover, the higher the grade of the spirit vein, the faster the growth and maturation of heavenly and earthly treasures they plant. Since you've come to me, I'll not hold back. Lu Changxing noticed this earth demon bear was only a third-rank early stage, its aura not even as strong as the wind thunder hound from before. Immediately taking advantage of its focus on the Thousand Faces puppet fox, he made his move. Knowing the relative strength of both sides, Lu Changxing simply activated the 9 treasure jade rui slightly, boosting his cultivation level to nascent soul 3rd layer. Yin-Yang Qi Grasp. 6 Desires Heart Demon Technique, Demonic Soul Binding. While using the Grand Capture Technique, Lu Changxing operated the 6 Desires Heart Demon Technique, attempting to seal the Earth Demon Bear's perception. Charm. At the same time, the Thousand Faces puppet fox, under Lu Changxing's mental command, simultaneously executed the Charm Illusion Technique, disturbing the Earth Demon Bear's mental spirit. Although demon beasts are not as vulnerable in their souls as human cultivators, they were still affected under such conditions. Boom. As the yin-yang hand suppressed and captured the Earth Demon Bear, Lu Changxing's chi blood surged mightily, his 3rd-tier physique fully recovering, surrounded by Thunder Gang Dragon Flame, he stormed towards the Earth Demon Bear and punched furiously, directly extricating the massive demon core from its belly. Ow! With a mournful cry, the Earth Demon Bear was immediately detained by the yin-yang chi grasp, forming a yin-yang small ball. Seeing this, Lu Changxing grabbed the small ball and immediately entered the cave, laying down a small reversed 5 elements array to start extracting the origin source of the spirit vein. Half a month later. Screech. A shriek pierced the heavens as Lu Changxing vanquished a fire phoenix-tailed sparrow. This trip's gains left Lu Changxing exceptionally delighted. Because the fire mulberry tree resided by the fire phoenix-tailed sparrow happened to be a third-tier spirit plant. This was the first time Lu Changxing harvested a heaven and earth spiritual plant by his own effort, which filled him with immense joy. Immediately he used yin-yang magic power to seal the fire mulberry tree, preserving its vitality, and stored it in the spirit plant bag. Then he began to excavate the origin source of the spirit vein underneath. Half a day later. Roll, 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 a sound of earth-shaking commotion arose, alongside the thunder of a myriad of beasts stampeding and bellowing roars. What's going on? Although Lu Changxing was fully engaged in intercepting the spiritual vein origin, his soul was so strong that he could multitask with ease. He immediately activated his fire golden eye, and his eyes shone with a bright golden luster, looking through the mountains and stone walls towards the outside. He suddenly saw countless demon beasts rushing in his direction. In the distant sky, there seemed to be a golden eagle and a black hawk lurking with terrifying auras. It seemed as if a mountain was moving towards him. What's happening? They couldn't possibly be coming for me, could they? A vague sense of unease crept into Lu Changxing's heart. After all, his location was deep in the myriad beasts mountain range, where few other cultivators ventured. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I've only killed 4 demon kings and I've already been noticed? Lu Changxing thought about the situation, frowning slightly. If that was the case, it seems he'll have to relocate to a further area. Otherwise, every time I fight a demon king and before even fully seizing the spirit vein, another demon king would find me, making my efforts futile. Immediately afterward, Lu Changxing took out Venerable Wuxia's map of the Myriad Beasts mountain range to observe his general location, planning to move to a more distant area. At this moment, Lu Changxing looked around, his brow slightly furrowed. In a 100-mile radius, tall mountains stretched straight into the clouds. As a dragon seeker, he immediately noticed that the terrain of this mountain range was extraordinary. Right away, Lu Changxing activated his fire golden eye and observed carefully with the origin spirit pupillary art. A moment later, he discovered that the land's energy was extraordinary. It was very likely that there was a large spirit vein below or some rare heavenly and earthly treasure. Shall I take a look? If there's a large spirit vein and I can intercept it completely, I could return from this trip with full rewards. Lu Changxing felt tempted. Seeing that the previous demon kings hadn't followed him, he decided to investigate the area. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Nevertheless, as soon as the Wuxia grand capture imprisoned the iron fire ants, many chose to self-destruct, emitting a destructive fire poison that made the yin-yang small ball tremble. It is said that iron fire ants are difficult to tame, and will choose self-destruction when faced with a threat to their lives, which can only be raised and bred from their eggs. Seeing this, Lu Changxing realized that it was impractical to try to take these iron fire ants back for cultivation. He immediately invoked his mana, extinguishing the life force of the ants within. After all, if these iron fire ants self-destructed, he would end up with nothing. By actively subduing them, he could later refine some refining crystal. I wonder if these iron fire ants have eggs. After subduing all the iron fire ants, Lu Changxing turned his gaze to the pile of bones on the ground and began searching. But after clearing all the bone piles, there was nothing but many remnants or exoskeletons shed by the iron fire ants, with no ant eggs to be found. There's a reason why refining crystals are so rare and precious. Lu Changxing sighed and then set about slowly extracting the golden fire vine tree. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1169. When he uprooted the golden fire vine tree, he immediately saw many tiny iron fire antlings, as well as blackish ant eggs the size of rice grains. Are these iron fire ant eggs? Lu Changxing was surprised and delighted to see these antlings and eggs. Then, with a faint smile on his lips, he said, That's right, iron fire ants like scorching areas, naturally they would reside beneath this golden fire vine tree. Lu Changxing raised his hand and performed the yin-yang qi grasp, capturing all the iron fire ants. Seeing that these larvae did not choose to self-destruct like the previous iron fire ants, Lu Changxing breathed a sigh of relief. He put all the larvae and eggs into the spirit beast bag, and then used his divine sense to check for anything that might have been missed. Beneath the golden fire vine tree, he observed numerous densely packed holes, which were likely traces left by the iron fire ants burrowing in. These holes had strands and threads of rich spiritual energy flowing out of them. Chirp chirp chirp. The seeking spirit mouse pointed below, indicating there might be a spirit vein, but also an unknown danger. Lu Changxing's eyes narrowed, shining with a golden sheen. He activated the origin spirit pupillary art and saw a stream of pure, rich spiritual mechanism flowing below. There was a high probability of exceptional spiritual objects or the presence of a spirit vein. Dig. Lu Changxing immediately set up the small reversed 5 elements array at the entrance of the cave to cloak their presence, then began digging towards the underground spirit vein. Several hours later, after penetrating multiple layers of rock walls, Lu Changxing saw an indistinct array pattern laying deep underground, which sealed everything beneath solidly, making it impossible to dig further. Has someone discovered the spirit vein below and heavenly and earthly treasures, and set up an array in advance? Lu Changxing furrowed his brows, somewhat shocked and amazed. Unexpectedly, there was an array placed below. Although he was not an array master, he had some understanding of arrays. It was clear that such an array was set up by someone. Moreover, although the array was sturdy, there were moments when it seemed barely there, with pure rich spiritual energy leaking out, indicating the array had existed for too long and had undergone some mishaps, becoming damaged. Previously, I felt there was an issue with this terrain, like an azure dragon coiling here. Now, there's an array pattern beneath this terrain. Could it be the work of a feng shui master or a dragon seeker? Lu Changxing contemplated in his heart. The more he thought, the more he felt that this mountain range was not simple. He suspected there might be some relics or a cave mansion below. Although he was not very interested in relics and cave mansions. But since he had come all the way here and the relics were right in front of him, it was somewhat unbearable not to explore. Additionally, there was likely a large spirit vein inside which he just couldn't bear to give up. Such array patterns might be difficult to break with brute force alone. Lu Changxing looked at the array pattern in front of him, trying to activate it with mana. The array pattern immediately shimmered with spiritual light, stirring up ripples and repelling him. Then Lu Changxing fully activated the fate-defying robe, with streams of Dao patterns flowing around him, attempting to pass through the array pattern with the help of the robe. But the fate-defying robe could only traverse arrays below the 3rd rank. Even though the array in front had existed for a long time and underwent some mishaps, it was still above the 3rd rank, preventing him from passing through directly. Since this array has shown irregularities, there must be a weak point, a flaw. As long as I can find the flaw, I should be able to get in. Lu Changxing's eyes narrowed slightly, he thought to himself. And he had a prohibition-breaking talisman in his hand. If he found the flaw, the weak point, and then struck it with the prohibition-breaking talisman, he might have a chance to enter with the help of the fate-defying robe. Let's work. Lu Changxing said to the seeking spirit mouse, while his eyes shimmered with golden radiance, looking to see where spiritual mechanism leakage was most significant. The more spiritual mechanism leakage, the more the array showed signs of damage. After spending 3 days, Lu Changxing finally found a weak flaw around the array pattern in the stratum. He put the seeking spirit mouse back into the spirit beast bag, released a prohibition-breaking talisman, and in the instant the spiritual light flashed, the fate-defying robe flowed, and he suddenly traversed the array pattern. The very moment Lu Changxing entered a vast underground palace. This place was extremely vast, endless at a glance, appearing naturally formed, showing no signs of human intervention. But Lu Changxing immediately realized something was off here. Spiritual energy. The spiritual energy here was too dense, misty like fog, flowing and pervading through the air. Until now in his cultivation, Lu Changxing had never experienced such dense nature's spiritual energy, feeling refreshed and clear-headed. Indeed, it's a 3rd-order spirit vein. Someone has locked all the spirit veins under this mountain range here. Lu Changxing's expression shifted slightly, instantly understanding what was going on. His eyes glittered as he looked at the deathly still underground palace, heading towards the source of the nature's spiritual energy, the direction of the spirit vein origin. This underground palace is too vast, isn't it? Lu Changxing was very cautious, moving slowly, feeling that this underground palace was simply boundless like a labyrinth. Lu Changxing saw a woman lying inside the crystal coffin. Her whole body seemed to be formed from ice crystals, her skin was snowy white, and her beautiful face was covered with a thin layer of frost, hazy and indistinct, obscuring her true features. Yet it was still clear that she was a peerless beauty, her loveliness beyond description. Her body was exquisitely shaped, lying there quietly as if in deep sleep, yet also like an ice-cold corpse. A female corpse? Lu Changxing stared at the woman in the coffin, his expression full of shock and disbelief. He had not expected to find an actual corpse inside the coffin. Moreover, from the lifelike and serene appearance of the other party, she resembled a sleeping beauty, seemingly not dead. What was going on? Had someone buried themselves here? A tender and pleasant faint moan came from the mouth of the female corpse. The frost on her jade-like body melted away, and her eyes slowly opened, full of bewilderment and confusion. Alive? Lu Changxing was greatly startled upon hearing this voice. He had not expected the corpse inside the coffin to wake up. The woman was supposed to become a deity of transformation but could survive for thousands of years. But there was no trace of magical power or spiritual pressure on this woman, only a cold, frosty aura. At the same time, Lu Changxing got a clear view of the female corpse's appearance. She looked about 16 or 17 years old, her face delicately beautiful, beyond the description of bringing down cities and nations. Her exceptional beauty exhibited an immature tenderness, like that of green water, naive and unmindful. Her eyes, dreamy and illusory, seemed to have just awakened, pure and devoid of any blemishes, like a spring in a tranquil mountain. Her skin was very white, not the white that outshines frost and snow, but a pale white lacking blood color, ghastly white. Her lips, too, were colorless, making her overall appearance seem frail and pitiful. Lu Changxing, who had seen numerous stunning beauties in the world, couldn't help but feel a twinge of heartache for the woman before him. This was the world's tolerance and care for beautiful things. And he, Mr. Lu, always had a bit more care for the beauty of the world. Daddy, the woman, confused and dazed, saw Lu Changxing in her hazy eyes. There was a hint of closeness in her gaze as if sniffing like a kitten, then she tried to throw her arms around him. Holy shit. Although Lu Changxing felt the woman in front of him had a breathtakingly beautiful appearance and looked softly pitiable, making one want to hold and protect her in their arms, he really hadn't figured out what was going on with the female corpse before him. His reason told him that there was something wrong with the woman before him, something big. If he got close, who knew whether there would be danger or not? Subconsciously, his great hand of magical power slammed toward her. Bang! Chapter 1171, A Corpse Turned to Shadow? Xianxia the Novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing's heart jolted as he stared at the girl's sharp teeth. He placed his palm on her delicately sharp shoulders, mana flowing, to check her condition. He immediately saw that her body seemed to exist between life and death, circulating a dense and intense chill of cadaveric aura. However, this chill was different from his endless guileful head and Xiahou Wuo's the dark demon corpse. It had not a trace of shadowy nefariousness. It was purely a majestic force of profound een. Moreover, he discovered that although the girl seemed fragile and pitiable, her body was extremely strong. Stronger than his third-order body refining, likely at the late stage of third-order body refining. No wonder she was unharmed after that strike just now, Lu Changxing murmured in his heart, now certain the girl was a shadow corpse. This place was likely used by someone as a site for corpse refinement. What a grand scheme to lock down such a large spirit vein just for the purpose of refining corpses. But as a shadow corpse, she's too extraordinary, almost like a living person, Lu Changxing marveled internally. Years ago, through the abyssal ghoul blossom, he acquired a heavenly corpse refinement technique from the memories of Xiahou Wuo. It contained many methods of corpse refining. Yet none of them made the refined corpses seem so vividly alive. Daddy, Binger will always be obedient. The girl continued to stare at Lu Changxing, her eyes red and pitifully pleading. What's your name? Lu Changxing let out a sigh and looked at the girl before him, asking aloud. Daddy, my name is Binger. With a perplexed face, the girl looked at him, her pure and flawless eyes somewhat timidly fearful, as if afraid Lu Changxing would be displeased. Her eyes were innocent, like those of a young child, completely unbecoming of an adult. Lu Changxing suspected that she had been sacrificed to become some type of shadow corpse, losing her previous memories, now as naive as an infant. And the first time she saw him, she had mistaken him for her father? Binger, Lu Changxing muttered the name, then continued to ask, "Why do you call me Daddy?" "Because Daddy is Daddy." The girl looked aggrieved, her voice childlike and almost crying. It could soften even the hardest steel. Lu Changxing's mouth twitched, he then softly asked, "Binger, why are you here?" "How could I be here?" Upon hearing this, the girl looked around, instantly becoming tense and frightened, hugging Lu Changxing tightly and sobbing, "Daddy, it's dark, Binger is scared, Binger will be very obedient." Lu Changxing felt that it was completely impossible to communicate with her in this state.